There, I did it for you.
It's not gonna work. You have to get closer.
No, I moved it closer to him.
This feels awkward.
You didn't even move.
It's invading my personal space.
You'll be off screen. You'll be like when they have like an informant on the TV. He's okay.
Can you put a shadowy area over here and disrupt my voice a little bit?
You have to disrupt it yourself.
I'll be like that.
I mean, you could just do that on your own.
Yeah, that's what I was
doing.
doing.
I don't have to worry about editing or anything like that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk through a dinosaur.
There you go.
Roar! Does that work?
No, you can press the sides on the dice or press the stomach.
I think he's broken.
No, he's not broken.
He's still good.
I mean, that's like 12 years old, and it was probably about 5 years old when John got it. Hey, welcome to Crippled System, episode 21221.
21221.
Yep.
Oh, crap. What happened?
We passed views.
Views on Minnie's thing, but they split their episodes into 45-second deals.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do it.
We actually were going to do a 90 episode where every 1 minute was an episode number just to pass you guys.
That involved a lot of work on Andy. It was like a lot of punishing work on Andy. With a full intro and exit on everyone.
Just so the
We don't even
listeners.
have intros or exits.
We would have made
We
one
got
then.
Buseys and credits.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just switch back to that like right now. Like
No.
now, if I just turn the mics on, they can hear us while they see the Buseys right now.
The mics were turned off?
Mics were turned. Now they're on though, but now
I think
all
they were
Buseys.
they were
Podcast is
recording.
50% worse.
Oh, okay.
No. I turned the mics on, so during the Buseys they can see us. So that's all they see right now is just Buseys and us talking.
That's all that matters.
Is anyone here?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Nobody talks. Nobody listens to
They
the
do,
podcast.
and if there's usually Jim is on there, and maybe a Travis, and then there's a non-Euclidean Nick, and there's
What else is
Aggie
Travis?
usually shows up.
What else is Travis going to do?
Right?
His life.
My name is Nathan, and I play Mulligan Scoyatel. Oh. Yeah, Francisca. Yeah.
It's so bad. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, I'm up to 17 so far. And it's
you can
janky.
get to 18.
I mean,
17.
I'll be able to get to 19. But no, I got like a 64% win rate. I'm doing okay. But I mean, that's lower levels, obviously.
Jim hauled his gimpy ass up to 18 with Morvan Voorhees last season.
Last season, yeah. So obviously, I'm Jim, and I play Morvan Voorhees. So it's like AA right now, right? I play Mulligan Squirtle. Well, I play Morvan Voorhees. Oh, I'm sorry for your pain. You're in recovery. It's okay.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I got to 16 with Morvan, and then I got to 18 with Francesca, and then I got to 19 with Morvan.
Yeah.
And then I could not win with him anymore, and I had to switch to Spies. I don't remember what I tried to do to make 20, but I did not make it.
Probably the Fringilla Mimi, which isn't exactly Mimi.
Maybe. It is looking that way right now because like every deck right now has Scorch, Villain Treadmirth, Igni, or some combination of the three.
Sure.
Yeah, so my win rate went from like 65% to 47%. I was like, okay, I got to switch.
I'm Keith, and I play John Spies.
My name's Brian. I pay. I think I play Fulstead. Which
I thought you were doing a monster
Full
deck.
test?
Fulstead. Yeah, I got Fulstead.
I thought for sure you'd play Eridan.
I was playing Eridan, which I do like my Eridan deck. I was trying to tweak with the Consume deck, but I didn't quite get it where I wanted. And I definitely haven't. It's a good deck. I just don't quite have it where I wanted. I definitely played. I still have more wins with Eridan, but I'm almost caught up with the Northern Realms. I just like the Northern Realms. It's such a thinning deck because it's 26 cards. On round 3, I'm always playing like by the end of the round 3, I have no cards left. I'm always playing what I can play. It's,
Yeah, that's how Spies is too. Like I bricked my Joaquin not paying enough attention yesterday.
Is it today or tomorrow?
Come on,
that we have
Joaquin. Nothing.
I have to go in and play one game with Northern Realms to get a free gold, right? Is that today or tomorrow?
but
I
tonight.
didn't know anything
It's
about
tonight. So they're doing these faction
So it's
things.
over already?
No, you can,
I think tonight.
U.S. tonight you can still do it.
Okay.
They're doing these faction head-to-head things where they pick two factions and they have them war, and at the end of this like 2-week stretch, whichever faction has more wins, everyone who played more of that faction than the other faction gets a premium gold.
So I have to craft.
But there's no minimum, so you just have to play one game with the people who are currently winning.
Does it
which
have
is
to be in
Northern
ranked,
Realms.
or can it be in casual?
I think it's casual. It's fine.
Nice.
I think it counts all games.
So I have
with
to
these factions.
craft the Northern Realms hero to get a.
Yeah.
Did you sell your heroes?
Oh no, I have Radovid.
I really like.
I ripped them in half to make more brand.
That is a
actually.
high percentage loan that you took, or a high interest rate
Well,
loan.
the thing about it is that I followed the Marshall strategy. He is a genius. He ripped up everything except for one faction, and then you can make a competitive faction out of that, and then you climb up very easily.
Yeah.
And you get way more rewards,
Yeah, my fault.
and then you can just backfill and build
My
them.
my Arian win rate was closer to 50, but this deck I think is at like 66 or 67% win rate, which is gets enough. It's 2 out
That-
of 3.
yeah.
You climb fast.
The Northern
Climb
Realms
2
is
or 3.
everywhere. I actually put Yennefer Chiranox into a spy deck.
It's
Counter the Northern
It's amazing
Realms.
how bad Epidemic can destroy me, though. It's so ridiculous. Like Epidemic, I don't think you don't see Epidemic being played at all, but that card would literally destroy
The one
me.
time you see it is there's the blue chick that can make it.
Yeah. Yep.
I got bit
lost
by
it.
I mulliganed a War Dancer out, and then I played Blue Mountain Raiders.
Yeah,
so I
and
had
then she
4
goes
3-costers, and then it's
Epidemic,
Epidemic as their first play, and I'm like, you just lived the dream. A 12-cost Epidemic.
See, even better than I play a Blue Stripes Commando. It pulls a guy, so they go to 4/4. I put another one down. I go. I will have sixes, and then they play Epidemic as their next action.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me, and I still won the game. I pulled out of my ass, but it's literally because almost all my first like 4 plays just boost the rest of my deck.
A lot of times a Reaver Scout's in there and he'll at least
Yep.
protect you from it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the only time you'll ever see Epidemic is off of that blue. I think she's a gold, right? She does the Aromancy Epidemic
That's
or
what got me, yeah.
Thunderbolt Potion.
Most of those are silvers. The pick one of the 3 mages. Most of them are silvers.
She's a gold.
She has higher quality picks. It's not.
Oh, sure,
It's not Clear Skies, a weather, and something mediocre.
Sure.
It's a great spell,
And then something that's
and
situational.
and Aromancy.
Well, Epidemic is not
What?
great.
Who do you
No.
play, Andy?
Hi, my name is Andy, and I'm going to be confused for the
He plays
entire
Guild Ball.
episode.
I know people who still won't play Gwent because they want to play Hearthstone. I can't. Mentally, I'm stabbing them.
Feel like it's completely different games.
They are
It
completely
is.
different.
They're completely different. But Jeremy's like, well, when I was going to play Gwent, I looked it up and only one deck wins, so therefore the game is dumb and
That's-
stupid.
What?
He's like, well,
I mean, that might have been the case in some section
he
of
looked
closed
into it a
beta.
few months ago. Like,
Sure.
when you could win golds, could it be killed and stuff like that. So there were some less decks,
Even
6 months ago. But
then, even under gold.
For a while,
immunity, there
Dagon
wasn't
was just
one.
swinging his dick around. I mean, there was probably a month or so
and
where
it's
Dagon...
like, oh, he's swinging his dick around. He's demolishing the meta game. You look
then
at his
they fixed it.
statistics. 56% win
Right.
rate.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that bad. The worst was actually Francisca right after she got buffed.
And it's not like Hearthstone didn't have a month where Quest Rogue was just beating out.
Yeah.
The same shit happens.
I mean,
mean,
higher
current-
than 56% probably.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A week and some change ago, the Hearthstone meta was down to 2 decks. It was, or it was like 2 or 3 decks. It was like Big Priest or Raza Priest or Jade Druid. Those were the 3 decks. And I was just
Right.
like, how is that different?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Right now,
Once you get above rank 5, that's all there is.
Right now in Gwent, you see a lot of decks.
I just love the 2 out of 3, and I love the finesse of when to lose a round, when to run around, when to push a second round. Like I love my deck because my deck loves to push all 3 rounds. Like I don't mind losing round 2. I just want to make it long. And so many
winning
decks hate
round
that.
1 and then pushing round 2 longer than they want to be pushed feels so good. Because a lot of people win round 1 and then just like do a quick drop in round 2
Like
and try
like
to
a
win
monster-
3.
that's what
And
a
if you
monster deck's
don't
gonna
do
do.
that for them, it can just be so fucking frustrating. And they're like, please just drop. And you're like, no, this is going. I know you're going to win round 2 eventually, but it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
I started this round with Cantarella and Rainfairn in my hand, so we're going all the way. And they're like, no!
I've been up by like 56 points. I could, and if you know what, I'm going to let them go down to 0 cards to win it. Just so in round 3, I completely obliterate them.
The Necker's deck sometimes will literally play down to 0 cards.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to 0 and see who wins.
Yeah.
Probably the guy that's got like a 15-point carryover coming through. Probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
Should we bother to explain what Gwent is?
You should probably explain
I've recommended it a couple times.
PlayGwent.com, it's free. Download it now, you'll catch up. Anyone who's played The Witcher, the video game, has a concept of what we're doing. Obviously, it's a concept.
No. I was just they announced some of the changes they're doing that are coming up, whatever, and I was reading in a Reddit thread, and somebody's like, this is so stupid. They should just give us exactly what it was in Witcher 3. That's what everyone wants. And I'm like, no!
I love...
Like, that's what it was when closed beta started.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is
And that was
anymore
their-
because of feedback, but I'm sure that's what everybody wants.
Just go play Witcher.
Yeah, just
Everybody
Witcher
wants
3.
zero strength spies that have you draw 2 cards, right? Like that. Well, yeah, I want that.
just for Nilfgaard, though.
Right.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, why does Cantorell only draw 1 card? They're the spy faction.
Yeah,
I am
she should be
enjoying
better.
even watching like streams of the game, watching some of the stuff. I watch a lot of Swim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Swim's
Swim-
the one everybody watches.
Pumpkin,
I think, is another big one.
Pumpkin is not as entertaining as Swim.
No,
he's
but he's
probably,
another popular
yeah, he
one.
might be like 5% better.
Swim's
at the
fun
game.
because he is very good at explaining his thought process
Right.
while he's doing stuff. At least that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, there's other entertaining podcasters. There's Jaggerus and Merchant, but they're just not as good at the
Well,
game.
and Swim had Matt Mercer on. Like all Friday was him and Matt Mercer just hanging out playing Gwen. And he was actually Matt Mercer was on his stream. He was hosting it, so he could see Matt's hand while he was playing, and he was explaining to Matt, because Matt is newer to Gwen, so he wasn't like being a dick. But he's like, well, so in this situation, that's why you play this versus this, and just hearing him explain to someone for like 3 hours why you should do this over that, and the elements of it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is really tactically sound and interesting, but
My favorite thing about Swim is that he is a little trolly. So there are times when he has created a deck that has reshaped the meta, and then he'll post it on the Gwent DB with one fatal flaw. Like he'll put one of the golds in really wrong, and make a case for why you should play it. But he puts it that way so that he beats people who are playing his deck.
what happens is they drop that gold, and he knows every card in their deck.
Right.
Because as soon as you play that gold, you're playing a card for card net deck.
Right.
So he's like, I know every card in your deck. I'm going to use that information.
Absolutely.
It is pretty funny, but yeah.
This is going to be a long podcast for me.
You're all right. Every once in a while, you can talk about the butchers or something.
No,
Blacksmiths. You're playing blacksmiths?
I play blacksmiths.
There you go.
Yeah. No, but
What you should do is play Gwent.
I agree though. In fact, I was thinking about it. I could have myself playing Gwent on the screen here during the stream, but then I'd have to install.
We'd all be watching you just play.
I know.
He's like,
no, you fool!
No! Nathan and I were talking about this of like some podcasts or some video casts I've seen to have like somebody playing like a video game and that on the stream itself, and I realized that wouldn't work for us because we would just be talking and then just be distracted, just staring at the game.
Yeah, you'd have to keep it so we couldn't see it. Would be the only way it would work. I mean,
I agree though with Hearthstone. I feel that Hearthstone right now, just getting into it is a task because you earn things seemingly really slow in the game. So either you're going to have to play the game a ton in order to build enough dust to be able to make the cards that you want for it, or you're going to have to throw a bunch of money at it.
Yeah.
And there's
no way to play Hearthstone without a bunch of money from new player. I mean, all games to some degree, but like
Gwent is so generous. It's
generous. It's weird that their stated objective on Gwent is to be fan service and not to make money on it, which has turned around on them badly because they're making a ton of money on it. They really failed at their objective.
Well, I mean, I will say when you're like all forums, there's always mad people. No matter how enjoyable something is, a group of people are going to hate it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless America and all that. But watching people lose their shit over the new leaders because the new leaders have like random abilities to them. I mean, Gwent is very tactical, and there's not a lot of randomness normally. So putting a pure random element, I can see.
So here's
But
my.
I don't. It doesn't bug me, but watching the rage is hilarious.
My thought, and it's not wholly mine. I've heard other people who are far better at Gwent and have like Twitch feeds and are like Swim and Pumpkin level of fandoms talk about this, and I agree with it. Is so every time people have been complaining of so. Like 100 new cards are coming out next week or a week and a half, whatever, soon, middle of December. And a shitload of them have, confusingly, it says spawn, which was already a game term.
Turned into create.
Is it going to be called create?
I believe so.
But it's discover from Hearthstone. It's draw 3 cards and then pick one of the 3 cards. And a shitload of these, including every so far revealed new leader, has that as their ability.
I thought it was. I don't think you pick. I think it just spawns.
It's 3. No, it's a 3. It's discover from Hearthstone.
Right,
it's literally just discover from Hearthstone. So whatever it has as what it spawns, that's the restriction to what'll show up.
Okay.
And it'll give you 3 random choices from that pool, and then you pick one.
So what I haven't been clear on yet is that in Hearthstone, if you get a discover spell, it limits it to your class.
These do not. I know they do not because the elf silver says spawn a silver or bronze special or spawn a Scoia'tael silver or bronze unit. So the unit choice specifies Scoia'tael, and the special doesn't.
Like, treason, then that'd be so bad.
Well, it
would be
and so
highly
given that one of
unfortunate.
the choices specializes,
Like Monsters, that's what he did.
yeah. I mean, that already happens with Avlok the Sage, right? Where you can grab something that doesn't help you. So that's just part of the spawn. But at least you don't even get a choice. You're just like playing against Nilfgaard, and you grab something that's like or Skellige, and you get to play a cursed card.
That card
You're
is
like, oops.
aggressively terrible.
Yeah, I know, but it's janky, and I don't care.
There's always been
The
those.
point is,
random
they
cards.
keep stressing, like, people are like, this is terrible, it's RNG in my Gwent. No! Like, the whole point of Gwent is that you have a perfect deck that has everything that you need to be, and you can't risk shit with dice rolling, and that's the purpose of the game, says these people. Which, number one, maybe for you it is. Some people like Avlok the Sage, you know? Andy would play 4 Avlok the Sages if it was legal. That is an Andy deck, and that's fine.
is
The
that
guy
guy-
that pulls a random card from your opponent's deck and copies it?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, he would play nothing but Avloks.
You mostly just hit Roach.
Yeah. That is my experience. Oh, somebody outplayed...
6-point goals.
I played Avlok first round, got
Or you
nothing.
could just play a Lesser Guardian.
I played Avlok against Spellitel. First round, got nothing. Just he dropped as a 3-point goal and it goes, sucks to be you, Nathan. And I was sad, but I'm like, that's Spellitel. It's mostly spells. They didn't have a unit. And then round 3, they played Double Cross and pulled a silver unit out of their own deck. I'm like, you fuckers, you were holding it and mulliganed it at start of round 3. Asshole. But anyway, the point is, the developers keep stressing that these are for the new game mode. So 99% sure the unannounced, or the unspecified so far new game mode is going to be some kind of a draft system. Because that way you'll be able to do this spawn mechanic to grab specific cards that you may not have drafted.
The other thing about it is that the so-called RNG that everyone says, that's in the game already. Spy, look at two units, pick one. There's a ton of this stuff in the game, and some of it is so inconsistent, like Johnny, where you mulligan a card and get one of theirs. It's so inconsistent that people can't play it. It's not like it's gonna hurt anything. If they can't topple spies with those RNG cards, don't bother playing them.
Yeah, there is certainly a difference between RNG and RNG under human control.
Right, and if you can build your deck for, like, the spy digs, it would be the counter.
And I'll link this into our audience here. It's actually very similar in some respects to War Machine. Like, you can get yourself in a situation where the RNG is very unlikely to hurt you. And every once in a while, you roll double ones. Every once in a while, off my first emissary, I hit like
double Vico or whatever.
double medics or whatever if I'm playing 2 medics or some variation of something terrible, like my medic and my shoot 5 spy guy, and it's just like, well, that sucks. But it doesn't happen very often, and I have a lot of agency in how it's going to play out. And similarly, as far as Hearthstone goes, the discover mechanic has been one of the competitive players' favorite things. Like, a competitive player will take that discover mechanic over deal random damage any day of the week.
Right.
Well, because it gives them options in decision making, and they're trying to make better decisions than their opponents.
Yeah, it's actually additional agency over some of the other effects. So I think it depends on the specific discover or create card. It just depends on what pool it's looking into to see, like,
And most of the discoveries say spawn a type of this or use this tag. So if you're putting that discovery card in your deck, you know what your pool is.
there's
You're
limited
not saying
pools.
give me one of the card. You're saying give me one of alchemy or give me one of cursed or one of. So you're already limiting the possibilities just by that card.
yeah, they sound good to me.
I saw
think so,
somebody
too.
break out the math where they're like, I think they did it with, like, Whispering Hillock. No, they did it with Ada, who's pull a cursed, I believe. Well, whichever one they did. They're like, this pool is 12 cards, and you have X percentage of drawing one of them as one of your 3 choices. And if there are 3 cards in that pool that are decently good for you at any given point of time between drawing 3 cards and any of those 3 out of 12 being good, you have like a 90% chance of hitting a strong card.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like this random shit falling from the heavens and you
Yeah.
might just get garbage. You have some, you know, your pool.
Now, it's not like that one goal that turns into any other possible goal. That's a much huger...
Una? Yeah.
It's like, play this, turns into God knows what.
I mean, they put some of those in for free advertising
Yeah.
because of silly shenanigans
Yeah.
that can happen.
Flip
And
side,
maybe
I will
you're-
play Uma forever because it's Uma and I love Uma.
And maybe you're like, you know, and there's people who play, and sometimes, you know what, I'm going to play this weekend, I'm playing this is my stupid spawn whatever deck. Like, you can just... And I will say, some opponents, their strategy is to disrupt your strategy. If you don't have a strategy, they can't disrupt that.
That's how spies play, and I have oftentimes been like, Jim has seen me sitting there and be like, I have no idea what this guy's doing. I'm going to lose. I just like,
Yeah,
and usually I'll pull out in the end because spies are strong on their own. But sometimes it's just like, I don't know what's happening. This is so stressful.
I can't remember if I mentioned this to you yesterday or
you
Marshall
don't know
at
what
work.
finisher to play for, a short or long round.
Saw a guy whose deck it has no strength in the entire deck. It has no units,
Oh,
no
it's
way to
just
put
all
things.
hard
It's
removal.
all hard removal. And he posted a screenshot of his 0-0-0-0-2 round tie, and he was like, "I did it, guys! I won!"
I was playing last patch or somewhere. I was playing Aridin against something, and after 5 rounds in the last round, we were both at 0.
Sure.
It's like, oh. So
Yeah, you get a Scoia'tael versus...
I think it was
Aridin.
Scoia'tael versus Aridin,
you're
and it
gonna
was
get some low-scoring
0-0.
games.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've had some amazing, like, stupid scores.
But yeah, it's a good time.
How about that Geralt Yurden though?
He's just debombed the board.
Oh, D-bomb the board.
Fuck that.
So bad for Spellitel.
That
And it's
card-
beyond, it also heals everything too because it's hard reset. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That thing ruins my current Northern.
It ruins
actually-
every deck.
and
It
no,
ruins
it might be really
except
good
Skellige.
in Skellige
It is a Skellige neutral, the same as
Yeah.
Muzzle is, or the same as rather
Wolfsbane,
Wolfsbane is.
yeah.
It is a Skellige neutral as motherfucking hell.
So is
Yeah.
Oligard. I mean, nobody but Skellige plays Oligard.
Everybody's that Yurden wrecks every deck that isn't Skellige.
Yeah, Skellige.
Yeah, Skellige Veteran with that might actually be too good, because Skellige Veteran's actually quite good.
Yeah, because those are strengthens, aren't they? Yeah, so it doesn't hit them.
That's what you. Oh, man, I played a game the other day. I pulled 25 of my 26 cards, and the only card I didn't pull was a fucking Eskel who could kill a guy, and I was playing the fucking. So he had like a 25 strength model. I lost the game.
Oh,
by two-
Tibor.
Yeah, I lost the game by 2 points, and I couldn't. I drew every card. I thinned my deck down. I didn't. It was like I had 3 cards left. I played Dextra.
Yeah,
So I got
Dijkstra,
got
sure.
2 of the 3 cards, not that one fucking card. Like I ought to win the game if I just could have got the card in my hand at some point in the game. And I
My-
had so many pulls and shuffles and
Arctic Circle is asking a question. What are the Gwent deck styles? So if you're not familiar with the basic rules of Gwent, unlike Magic, unlike Hearthstone, unlike most other card games that I've
Basically every other game.
card
Yeah.
game.
there isn't as you have a very limited version of interaction with your opponent. Like there's a lot, but it's not in the same style.
Well,
Can
the
I
main thing is
stop
there's
you
no
for a
hit
second?
points.
Yeah, the goal of the game isn't to reduce your opponent's hit points to 0. So there is no trying not to lose. You're trying to get more points than your opponent.
Yeah.
So you are every play trying to win.
Yeah, creatures don't have an attack and defense; they just have a value.
Yeah.
And so it's comparative value, and you can attack your opponent's values, and you can reduce them, and you can bring yours up, and there are just various ways to interact.
Achieve
with
the
score
higher
on
score,
board.
right?
and you have like
And
multiple,
also,
yeah.
uniquely, is the complete lack of any kind of resource.
Yeah.
A turn
Yep.
is play a card.
Yeah.
Cards
Every turn
don't
is-
cost
Any
anything.
card you want in your hand, you play.
Yeah.
Some of the big popular decks, there is a Weenie Storm deck that just spams out a bunch of guys, and then it plays Yennefer Unicorn, and the Unicorn says, boost every unit on the board by 2. Now, if you have 20 guys and your opponent only has 10, that's
That's
a
plus 10 for
20-point
you.
play.
Or 20 point, yes.
Right, and a 20-point play on top of Yennefer's base strength, that is an enormous play. I mean,
26
so
cards.
like the base goal they start you with is just like, here, start playing Gwent is 13, so 20 plus a body. I mean, it's just
I
obviously
saw a
enormous.
video the other day. I posted on Facebook, but you're not on Facebook. A guy played 4 Yennefers.
Oh,
Because he was playing Nilfgaard so he could scoop back into his hand.
Oh,
He played Avlok the Sage,
right.
knowing his opponent only had a Yennefer in the deck, and then scooped Avlok, demoted, scoop.
Right.
He had Decoy and his leader, and then the gold that is play your leader ability. So he played 4
That's pretty
Avloks,
good.
each of which grabbed a Yennefer, each of which unicorn.
But then, I mean, there's some other common decks. There's a consume deck where you're actively eating your own guys to buff other stuff. There's a spy deck where you play spies on your opponent's board that have strength but have synergy for you. So there's a bunch of different dynamic styles to
Yeah.
play too. It's not like the decks are boring.
Spies is my favorite because you play cards that have a value on them on your opponent's side of the board. But then I also play cards like the Imperia Brigade, which gains 2 points of value every time a spy is played. So if I have 2 of those out, all of a sudden spies are positive for me, because the basic spy is 2 points.
Right.
And then it allows me to sift through my deck and find specific answers for problems. And it's a control-ish oriented deck. Not
The spy is the
purely.
most control. It feels to be almost the most control.
Spellitel is the most.
Not anymore.
Not
It's
anymore.
the ale.
Old Spellitel.
Spellitel is a buff deck. The spells are disguise buffs.
The
really.
biggest control deck is Irridan.
Sure.
He's the one he's playing this
With the weather
attrition,
drops.
grind your opponent's score to 0 by sticking them in weather.
Yeah.
So
And the board is, instead of just having a row where your creatures sit, you have 3 rows where your cards are played. And then there are many effects that will attack a row or will attack a model or a card in each row. So there's also strategic plays to be made in where you
Yeah.
make your play.
I will say and I know what they don't, because the original Gwent used to have like certain people had to be in certain roles. There's a much higher restriction of that. Like your siege towers had to be in the 3rd row, your archers had to be in the 2nd row, and your troopers had to be in the 1st row. But I can see that with dynamic, it takes away a lot of choices.
they changed it, and people cried about it, but the game is actually much
About
improved.
75% of cards don't care what row they go in,
I'm
and
pretty
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
next month 0 cards will care. I think
Correct.
they're eliminating that because all of the spoiled cards for the next batch are lacking a row symbol.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they were basically to the point where they might as well eliminate the symbol, and so they just eliminated the
Yep,
symbol.
and they've been making more and more things. I forget what agile is what they
Agile,
call
right.
it.
But now I
And-
think that's just
It'll just be models.
Yep. So that was another. It was like we were talking earlier. I don't know if it was on the cast or not, about the people who were like, I don't understand why they didn't just port the Witcher 3 game right in. That's what everybody wants.
Worst version of Gwent.
right.
And so that was a relic of something that
Yeah.
they imported from the Witcher 3 game, and through playtesting have realized makes the game
For a
worse.
single player game where it's you versus the computer, it was a fine form and you could have fun. And once you played about 10 hours of the game, you eventually got a good Gwent deck. So every time you play Gwent, you could just crush the computer, feel good about yourself, go back to killing people as the Witcher. You could just like take a little break and
The argument I heard against everything being agile is, now I can't anticipate my opponent and play strategically. But actually, the more choices, the more strategic, especially in a game like Gwent. I mean, Gwent is such a chess match, really. I mean, you have access to your whole deck, basically. So you being able to choose, am I stacking a row or am I spreading out, is more strategic than being forced into your opponent's hands.
And there's buffs that affect all rows, some rows, one row better than others. So you can still see, you're still going to do what's best for your deck, and your opponent's still going to have the choice to how they want to react to all those things. And there's all these abilities that still you can force people to move where they, moving things around is a big deal in the game, and it will still be a big deal.
There's so few cards that aren't agile now that it's just frustrating. Like, my deck is 100% agile, except for
Erlen.
no, mine it's oh yeah.
Erlen
Pops
and
out
probably
of
the
range.
Fireball Trapper.
No, I don't have the Fireball Trapper. I have the Archer.
I have one.
The Archer
I have-
is agile and it does 3 damage. And I threw Iris in my deck because I was sick of seeing Iris in everybody else's deck. But anyway, Ida. I have Ida, and she is siege only.
Yep.
And I also have.
Luckily, she has no body, so it's not important.
and my other siege only with no body is I have Barclay, who pulls out
something
Cleaver.
big.
Yeah, it's Barclay Cleaver. It's my only other dwarf, and he's also siege only. So it's annoying when I'm playing against Eridan or somebody, and I have some stuff in siege, and they drop in siege, and I move that stuff out or let it die because they're like 3 health, and then I want to play like Barclay, and it's just frustrating because it's so rare to be restricted.
Yeah, that's why they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I have a slightly worse problem than that. One of the biggest bodies in my deck is stuck in siege row.
Yep. Asir.
Asiri, Van.
And the thing is, like, Eridan wants Wither on the table sometimes. He doesn't give a fuck if you're there or not. He just wants that on the table.
Actually,
there.
it's smarter to play into Eridan's weather and
then he can't
80,
move you.
right? And 80% of the cases because he's got the drowners anyway, and so by playing into the weather, you're negating his drowner, which is like the drowner is an 11 plus weather ticks. He's just like this huge card if you're playing outside of weather.
So you force him to spawn another row of weather,
Yeah,
which he
and-
didn't want to do.
Right, and then now you've got the option of clearing 2 weathers, not 1, if you do have a clear.
Yeah.
But
And then as far as asking what they get you when you're starting the game, from start to finish, Gwent is generous as all fuck. So you start with a mediocre deck in each faction, one leader in each faction. If you do the single player mode, which will take you a day. You unlock all the other leaders and plenty of cards, and every single daily, which is just win 6 rounds. Not even games, just rounds. You can go 0-6 and
You
still
can go
do your
0-10
daily.
and get it if you have to.
Sure. But yeah, you go 10. But even just win 6 rounds is a guaranteed pack.
Yeah.
And the packs are really good because you get 4 random cards, and just like any other pack opening thing like Hearthstone or whatever, those 4 random cards can be anywhere from the most common to the rarest. And then your 5th card is a Discover, right? They give you 3 cards that are guaranteed to be rare, epic, or legendary or whatever.
Yep, that's exactly
and
the terminology.
You're guaranteed to get something better than common, and you get a choice between 3 of them, so you can avoid duplicating something you don't need.
And you can fill out a faction. And one strategy, if you really want to be cheap, is you can just mill down a couple of factions, and you can use that dust to make one good faction.
Yeah, there's
the
5 factions in the game. I've played now for a good month or so, and I've only played 2 of the factions.
Right.
I may build a
Craft the
third
other
at some
3,
point,
yeah.
but the odds of me playing all 5 factions is pretty
What I do is I
you
play
think-
one new faction per patch, because I can get one new faction per patch.
If you think
Or,
you're going
per
to
2
be
months.
very good and you think you're going to play competitively, if you just have a gut instinct, don't do that, because the only reason that'll bite you, although by then I guess you can just drop $10 and rebuy them, it doesn't fucking matter. But the only way this could really bite you is if you do really well and reach the top and you're invited to play in the separate pro ladder the next month. The pro ladder requires you to play all 5 factions.
But luckily, I mean, if you do make one of their pro tours,
Just spend
the
$20.
minimum thing is $1,000
Yes.
if you make it. So if you spent $60, plus they
Not
have
the pro
a
tour, just the pro ladder.
Right.
The pro ladder is still just
Yeah.
play at home on your computer, jerk it
I mean,
off,
I think
but-
by the time you get pro ladder,
You'll have
even
to
if you used
scrap
my
anyway.
strategy, the thing is my strategy makes you competitive more quickly, and you get more packs because of it.
yeah.
So
also
I guess
what
it's
I-
actually Marshall's strategy.
I would probably not grind the leaders. Like the cards, yes, but I would keep the leaders. It's so
funny
expensive
to
to
go
recraft
Brewer
them.
Hoop, get out.
Okay, maybe Bruverhoog.
I
He's actually
needed
pretty
I
good,
needed
but-
to grind the leaders to build my first deck.
Right. But now that they got the
But-
starter available, you probably don't.
Oh, yeah, with the
$5
starter
gets
pack.
you the starter
Yeah, the-
pack, which is
the-
10 kegs.
Yeah, the $5 starter pack is an incredible value.
And I mean, not that you should spend money, but it's not like Hearth. It's pretty
throw
generous.
kegs
But they throw kegs. Like I mean, and like you said, the daily 6 rounds get you 1. There's actually tiers of
I've got to be
daily. So
honest.
you
I've
played.
I've spent money on the game, but only on stupid crap.
like the dust.
Like I mean, well, I also bought like 60 packs and then made like stupid stuff out of them. But I mean, it's like, I've played like 300 hours of Gwent, and I better have at least spent $60 on it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but,
well,
I
they
mean, come
burn
on.
that money. Like, I
Yeah.
played no other video game that much. I
Right.
spent $60 on them. The other way that it's super generous is there's no rarity. Well, there's classes of rarity, but it's not like
There's not one Uber Gold and one Crappy Gold,
All
and the
the
Crappy
golds are the
Gold is
same
cheap and the Uber Gold is expensive.
And yeah, they all cost the exact same amount. In Hearthstone, it's dust. In this, it's scrap. They cost the exact same amount.
Yep.
So if you want a bronze card, you just spend your 100 scrap or 200 scrap, and there you go. You want the silver, you want a gold. They all cost
I think it's
the same.
actually 30 and 80. And I mean, you
oh,
can
yeah, you're
get
right. Yeah, it's
one
like
pack
200.
is a minimum 60 scrap.
There are two rarities of bronze.
That is true. There are 2 rarities of bronze only so that the 5th card that you get a choice can still be a bronze. That's the only reason there's still, because the silvers and golds are one rarity. Even
And
within
there's just
themselves.
not that many of them where they could give one away every pack.
But the point is, every deck can have 4 golds, 6 silvers, and then as many bronzes as you want. But the minimum deck
Likely
is 25, and you normally then want to stay small and do 15. You might actually, go higher in some decks, but
The
you're unlikely to.
Northern Realms have so much play a card, pull cards, but normally you don't want to.
But
higher.
every
Hence, almost
25
always
card
goes
deck
over.
costs literally the exact same
right.
amount of scrap to make.
Yep.
It's literally the exact
It's like
same.
6,000 scrap, and again, you get 120, or you get minimum 60 scrap a pack. So 100 packs sounds like a lot, but in 100 packs, you can have any deck you want. You get 1 pack a day for 2 months, and then probably like 15 at the end of the season. So it's really not that hard to get,
Also, I do feel,
and that's without ever opening anything good. And there's pity timers on them.
you might see some more 26 card decks
that
starting
what
with the
they're
new
seeing if they're
cards
watching?
because of the new Siri.
Oh yeah,
The only way you can do her is by having
crazy.
26 cards or
Right.
28 or 30, because you have
Right.
to have
2 of
exactly 2 of every
everything.
bronze.
there seems to be so many.
I wonder if it's base strength or if it's boosted. Because if it's base strength, hello reveal.
No, she comes up. She's one in hand.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
she's
a
one in
different
hand,
reveal
but then when you play her, she might strengthen to the 25, so you can't reset her.
Who's this?
But the new
Siri,
Siri
yeah.
is if you have exactly 2 of every bronze that's in your deck, you have to have exactly 2 of those bronzes.
Okay.
If that is the case, when you build your deck, when you play her, she becomes a 25.
If it is strengthened, I'm totally gonna turn her into a silver bouncer back my hand and make copies with
Sure.
spotters.
I don't know if it's straight or
29
boost,
power spotters. Come on.
She's gold.
Right, you
but
can
you
turn
can
her silver with
Demetrian
these
shackle your
shackles.
own gold
Yeah, you
down
play,
to a silver to
you play,
use bounces.
Yeah, and you can play her out as a gold, so she's immune to like artifact
Yeah.
compression. Then you can go Emmer, shackles, bouncer.
Yeah, because Ember, the Nilfgaard leader, can only pull back a silver, so you
So you're
shackle
gonna
your own
make
golds to yank them back in
Emmer
the hand.
reveal.
Emmer reveal, and then you put Leo down, and you fire 25 damage at something, and then you start making 29-point spotters. Come on, it's
Well,
gonna be
hopefully
great.
your opponent lets you play them all, then they just scorch it. But that's just.
Oh, yeah, that's how it always
you
ends.
have 3.
But you take the screenshot before the score. Yeah. And it's like it never happened.
Golds and silvers are limited to 1 per deck. Bronzes are 3 per deck. There's 5 factions, and then there's neutral cards that can be played in any faction.
And the neutral cards, for the most, they've kind of fallen out of favor. There are not a lot of neutral cards that still get.
I don't know.
The Geralt signs are all pretty good.
Yennefer.
Yennefer, the Geralt.
The Dora Garay.
Scorch. I suppose.
Scorch. Yeah, there is a lot of good neutral cards.
So I'd say
Actually, so you
maybe-
can make a bunch
Depends
of
on
neutral
the
cards.
faction.
And then play a lot
I think depends on the
He's a
faction. you play.
gambly one, but I still do. I don't like. He's not in the net decks, but I still see the occasional doo-doo even.
You shouldn't see him.
Doo-doo I only see in the ranks where people might still be short on silvers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a starting silver.
He is so bad against resets. I mean,
He is, but that's true. He's bad against resets, but
And he's
there's a
bad
lot of
against-
times where
yeah.
he's a targetable scorch where it doesn't hit yourself. Like if your
Normally-
biggest is 20 and their biggest is 19, it's the same as scorching their
If you're
19.
going to play him
He's a
well, he's
starter
he's
card,
like
and
the
he's-
last. He's like the last
he
card coming
he
in.
helps
your
you
deck
win a lot
Yeah.
of starter games.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's okay.
But yeah, even at
But
the upper
there-
level,
no,
like you
I
said, there's
mean,
scorches,
yeah.
there's Yennefers,
Dora
there's
Gray.
Gerald Ignes.
Yep,
There's,
I put Cleaver in one of my decks as
Yeah.
well because Cleaver is way better than Ox.
Well,
Or you know what I mean? He's even better than the Monster Lock in a lot of cases.
I like
So-
Barclay Cleaver because it's deck thin by 1,
Yeah, and
and
it's
it's
a
a
big play.
14-point play with a lock.
Yep. Yeah, whereas Siren is only a 9. That's the other option. So, yeah, no, there's good neutral cards to be
Maybe
had.
up to like 25% of your deck might be neutral. But
Yeah, that would be
25,
Spellitel.
yeah.
Spellitel would probably play in
that
that
would be
range.
heavy.
Spellitel actually might play more than that because they play Nature's Gift. They
Gwen-
play Marcher
Gwen
Orphan.
Signs.
Oh, Nature's Gift is wrong, but yeah, they.
Not Quen signs.
I don't even play that, but Elzer's
But I see
Thunder.
people do them.
Elzer's Thunder, Mahakamail. You actually probably play almost like 35% in Spellitel, but they're a very weird deck.
Yeah.
Whereas Nilfgaard Spies, I might
You play
I play Roach.
Hold on, there's something else in there. Well, your gold spots? You have to have at least one. No, you don't. You're true.
It's K here, Menno, Rainfairn.
I mean, that deck often plays Iris, and she's neutral.
It can.
Yeah.
But
I played her like 5. I played her for like 2 days, and she was just tying my deck into knots, and I was like, I can't stand it.
Well,
yeah,
'cause
she's
you're
hard
wa-
to play.
Well, except you are one of the decks that can play her where your opponent gets 0 chance to respond.
I need 2 shooters.
You
to
need
make
2
it
shooters, and you throw
And
her out there, and she just dies.
Once you hit higher rank, people just. I mean, they.
Well,
they
sure.
will
I didn't
answer
say
the
you will do
shooters,
it all the
but-
time. I'm just saying that there are a few decks that are good decks that also can instantly kill her.
Yeah. Aridin is the best.
Aridin
for
with the
her.
+1 damage, you just drop her right in there.
And then you freaking res her with Caretaker. I mean that.
Fucking Resurrect.
Oh my god, I love
that.
The 2 turns for 54 points. I mean, that's about as big as it gets. I mean, your opponent
If
just
you're,
has to
if you're
puke
gonna,
all
if you're
over
gonna
the
pull a
keyboard.
forfeit, that's gonna pull the forfeit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh god.
yeah. It generates quite a few forfeits.
I do mute.
I have forfeited it.
I do mute the other players' responses. So I hear it, but man, I wish there was like a giggle button when you could play that.
I don't, because every once in a while it's entertaining to talk back and forth. But some people, I don't know, even through only 6 possible emotes, are still aggravating as fuck. So I mean, there's a balance. But sometimes it's fun to be that guy that's aggravating as fuck.
It is impressive that you are right. There's only 6 predetermined things they can say, and yet they find a way to be a dick.
Well,
they
they have to choose the right character.
Yeah.
They made all the characters sound
Yeah.
like assholes with everything
Right.
they said.
Yeah.
So,
So Dandelion is a lovable chap.
like,
Regis has got to be the worst.
CDPR went out of their way to make it easy to be an asshole.
Yeah. Even like the like thank you type stuff is like, man, is he being a sarcastic ass? He sounds like a sarcastic ass.
Andy's here. What's up, Andy?
So, quick question. So,
Yeah.
let's say if I'm in round 3, I know that I'm going to beat my opponent because they have no more cards left.
Yeah.
Do I just throw everything into the bucket?
Usually, once you're ahead, you just pass.
Some people call that a bowel movement, but I think it's fine.
Okay.
Especially,
I don't do
especially
it
if
only
you're playing-
because I have limited time on this earth and I'm wasting it throwing cards into a game I already won.
Oh, it's hilarious. I like
So
doing
I
it
feel
with.
good winning with 4 cards in my hand. You know, just be like,
I'm playing a card only because I'm like, you know what? I'm afraid they're gonna have some kind of trigger I don't see. Like I'm just extra parent. Like I know I won, but
they've already passed, but who knows?
Well, sometimes some decks will get you after you
Yeah,
pass.
there's
Like the
some great-
Greatsword
yeah.
deck or a Consume deck can win after you pass. And you feel like
so
an idiot.
there
Oh,
are
weather's
yeah.
kicking.
Yeah.
There are things. So I'm like, you know what? Just in case. Yeah, I've seen enough points.
Teruvial with a bamboozle, where you're like, oh, I got him. He's 6 and 2 on each side, and all of a sudden they hand buffed him to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I definitely will play.
I will always play out if I'm playing reveal and all my cards are shown and they're not forfeiting. Because at that point they're not forfeiting. They're saying, please play. I mean, they see your points. They can count.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably an ass, though. I enjoy
Well,
it.
you are an ass, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong to do that.
Right.
I immediately forfeit and don't give my opponent the opportunity unless they're playing something goofy enough that I'm like, what's
I
in
want
your
to see what's
deck?
going on.
Yeah, I forfeit quite a bit towards
That's
the
why
end.
I always figure they don't forfeit. They're like, I want to see how he's going to end this.
One of the great things about the quad Yennefer play was that the guy who did it, first he said, watch this, with his emotes,
Yep.
which is a dick thing to say. Then he quad Yennefer'd. The guy didn't forfeit at any point in this. And then afterwards, the guy was like, that was really impressive. Like, thank you. Like, it was the most...
Actually, you can,
They
you
use
can
the
get some
emotes
pretty
to have
good.
that.
That's why I don't mute them. Every once in a while, you interact with somebody, you're like, yeah, it's okay that this guy was a person.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And that's cool to see that happens.
Yeah.
If they have, there's times where someone just does this crazy thing. Well, that was actually kind of cool. I mean, there are moments where you lose. Like this morning, I got up and I needed to do one more quest because I didn't play much last night. And I started the game and I played the guy who I play like John guy who plays like cards out of my deck, like an event card. But I had all my specials in my hand. I was just too tired to realize I thought I only had 2 of my 3 specials in my hand, but I had all of them. So I played them to pull it on my deck, and nothing happened. I'm like, oh fuck this goddamn game. Forfeit. I'm like, I can't play right now. I'm really tired. I don't have
You need to
time.
install Gwent Tracker.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have Gwent up. I just was completely. I was
Just
just
out of it.
I just woke up and crawled and was playing a game of Gwent.
Yeah,
Nope.
I mean, I just talked about it. I played that Joachim right into a bricked deck with Gwent Tracker sitting right there.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you're just not. But it's good that the game requires some attention. You can't just
Yeah, if you are coasting and you're at rank 18 or above, you are going to lose a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's why I've liked playing Gwent. One of the many reasons I've liked playing Gwent more than I did playing Hearthstone. The main one was I just felt like I was falling behind and needed to give Hearthstone money, which is how they want it to be.
Right.
And I don't feel that way in Gwent. And then
Ever.
the other main reason is that every time I've lost a Gwent game, I'd be like, I know what it's like. I did these 3 things wrong, and like I would have won that.
Usually there's
There's about 10% of your games that I think you can really say come down to card draw.
Every once in a while, it was like, yeah, there was.
We're not recording.
No, we're recording. We're recording on the stream. Though.
Right. I was going to say the audio stopped, but you can always rip it from you can upload the video and then rip it from YouTube.
There was.
That froze.
Oh, well.
There have definitely been games.
Are we
where-
still streaming?
Yeah, we're still streaming. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. There have definitely been games.
Jim, if we're still streaming, say something in the chat.
There have definitely been games where, like playing against Neckers in particular, it's just like I played my hardest in round 1 and couldn't win. I now lose.
Right.
yeah, third.
Sometimes you'll lose just to a matchup, and sometimes you'll lose to card draw. And I mean, it happens. I mean, it does happen.
Yeah, some of
But the amount of times that if you really look at it, it comes down to skill, your sequencing of your cards, how you mulligan, how your deck was built to avoid bricking, I mean, is a vast majority of the games.
So I play Mulligan Elves. I'm supposed to mulligan a lot. Some of the worst RNG I've had was in Gwent, where my hand was like all 3 of my Blue Mountain Raiders. It had
Yep.
Barclay and Cleaver,
Yep.
and it had none of my mulligan cards.
Yeah, unfortunately,
so I mulliganed
that-
one of them away, and then like the next, it was just, and then I drew a non-mulligan card, and then so the next round I drew the other like Blue Mountain Raider again. I'm like, oh my fucking god!
That deck unfortunately incentivizes you playing bricks, and so sometimes it will just brick.
Yeah.
But
And sometimes you just don't know. Maybe your opponent had bad luck too. So
Yep,
you
so you gotta
play
stick
a
it
little
out,
bit.
yeah.
Because I've had people where I'm like, man, this last round's going to be really close.
yeah, I've
And
dropped
then-
like a
and then they do
4-point
nothing.
card. I've dropped a 4-point card. My opponent forfeits. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what? So it happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely happens.
You don't-
Arctic Circle.
Or when your
no.
opponent passes with a card in hand, and you're like, oh.
Yeah,
Good for me.
Yeah, I
like
played it,
round
yeah.
3, I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I played against that guy earlier today. I know it was Scorch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it
broke the
usually
Scorch in his
is.
hand.
Yeah,
because
breaking
I was playing
Scorch in
against
hand.
Aridin, and I knew what it was. But
Arctic Circle, no, I'm not leaving War Machine, but that game no longer requires any brain power to build lists in, so I have some extra brain power to spare for Gwent decks.
and Keith only plays the one Gwent deck. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah,
Well, 1.5.
John Kelviet spies, and then I tinker with something else that I don't really like every season.
I got 2 kegs.
Yeah, until
nice.
Yarden, and then card just negates all your spies being spies and
The-
those other things.
Yeah,
Reset-
Geralt Yarden's
I don't-
CRV, but
yeah.
at least it kills
The,
Iris.
the problem with Yarden is like 30% of the time he's going to be this game-winning blowout, but you can't play a card that 30% of the time is a game-winning blowout. I'm not sure how good he's going to be.
But if he blows
Yeah.
out enough people, it's just going to scare people away from their decks.
Well, that's on you being scared.
yeah.
Like I played this deck where I
get
played
all
that
those.
Tibor guy, the 25 power guy.
Yeah.
But your opponent draws a card. It's not very good.
Yeah.
But I'd play him, and then I'd start putting Fringilla down that copies power.
Yeah.
And she'd copy that 25 over, and I'd pop her back to my hand.
Yeah.
And I'd do it again and again, and all of a sudden it was 100 points,
More
and my
card
opponent
games,
draws a
Sea
card,
Layer are both
and I
good.
lose every time to Scorch,
The-
Igni,
9 and the 7 are
D-Bomb.
both quite good.
I mean, there's a list of cards I lose to.
Depends on
Yeah.
if you want to play.
But I won
Norse
like
Raiders,
70% of my games
the
climbing
werewolf.
ladder because I wasn't afraid to play it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because people at that time weren't playing Scorch and Igni and Villain Trenamirth and D-Bomb. Now they are, and I'm scared shitless and I'm out. And that's fine, but if you're not seeing the card, you can look at Gwent Up, and if you're seeing that it's in less than 15% of decks and you're running away, you take that 85%
Yeah.
if your deck is good enough.
Yeah, there's definitely a point.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, I mean,
where you're in
yeah,
the-
Igni and Scorch and Villain Trenamirth right now are like 30 or 40% of decks. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's too much losses, but... So, you know, you can't be afraid. You gotta pick a deck that's right for the metagame, and you don't want to try to make your deck not lose to those cards. You want to pick a deck that doesn't lose to the cards that are being played right now.
The border tells you what faction it is.
But-
So if you want to stick with the same faction, you
That's
want
just
the
like
Berserker
everything
there.
else, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So say I'm gonna change topics just for a second.
Yes.
No one else plays this but me, so or it's in this room. So I got into the division last year, like a year and a half ago when it came out.
I remember people played that game for like a month.
Yeah, we played it for a couple months, and it just didn't have very much. It was kind of now, and we just walked away because it was one of those games that's supposed to be good, wasn't. But they spent like a year and a half updating it, and they've had some supposedly good updates lately. So me and Jordan and Jeremy are going to start playing it. But even logging in now, it's like when Diablo 3 came out. Diablo 3, well, if you played Diablo 3 when it first came out,
Yep.
it was like you walked away from that game too, like nope.
Yep.
And then
I was
the-
like, I bought a computer to play this game, and it's just torturing my soul. And
But now a new season comes out, Diablo 3, and it's fun to play for a couple months. You go and do all the shenanigans. It's fun now. You
Yeah.
know, it took them a while, and that's where Division is now. You log into Division, it's like you actually do stuff, and loot's flying at you, and you get to upgrade, and now you feel powerful. It's not just like just annoying game. It's not a chore. It's fun. It's just nice to see a game that I spent $100 on a year and a half ago. Actually, be able to give me.
I
lot
bet
of
there's some
more
people
line.
that played Gwent during the close of beta that'd feel the same now
Yeah.
with that game. I mean, not every game is like that, but
So it's just
A
nice.
coworker's giving me his copy of No Man's Sky. I've heard that one's gotten good.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've heard good things about
I
it.
saw Marshall play it initially, and he was just like, "I'm okay with this because I want something to
He had
do."
no expectations.
Yeah, you had no expectations.
Yeah, I've heard
that.
that's good too.
That release was absolutely hilarious for me, though. I watched and enjoyed.
Schadenfreude.
But that was more of me saying, "Hey, people playing Division on the PS4, look me up."
Okay.
More of an advertisement. It was like 30-second advertisement for the Division on the PS4.
We do recommendations later,
don't
Brian.
I
that
also
wasn't a recommendation. That was please play with me.
Well, it's 4-man groups are the best, and 3-man can do a lot. And with 3 of us playing, one more
sounds
person.
like Borderlands.
Yeah, I just bought Borderlands for my PC. Borderlands 2, that is the only one.
The Borderlands.
The Borderlands.
I could.
I'm running around as Axton, and I killed a random dude in the first open area you get to, and he popped out a Dirty Harry, unkempt Herald, right off the bat. So I'm running around to level 10 with an unkempt Herald, just shithousing stuff.
Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
PC. I imagine it's be run pretty smooth then, less load times or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, and right, I mean, it's just always there. If you got it on Steam or whatever, you can transfer it across.
Which is nice. I've been playing so much Friday the 13th on Steam with Andy and Chris, but I've been always tempted to play some Borderlands on the PC.
Yeah.
That's where I've always played, and I every couple year and a half or so we jump back in for a while. So
I had Borderlands on the Xbox 360, and then I had Borderlands 2 on the PS3. Then I had Borderlands pre-sequel on the PC, and then I got the Handsome Edition on the PS4.
See, it's like the whole man. I have the Handsome Edition for the PS4, which I don't really play.
Well.
Well, the PS4 days kind of came to an end, but
I'm
tempted for the PC.
you just missed it. But of course, during their Black Friday sale, you could get everything that there was for Borderlands for $8.
I have pretty much everything.
Including Telltale?
No,
Fuck it.
Just
Fuck it.
Borderlands 2, the entirety of
Which is nice.
DLC
That's
for
a lot of
$8.
DLCs.
I don't know. I was at 36 wins in Gwent. I was like, I need something to do.
Gwent to me is like I love Gwent, but I still only play between 4 and 6 games a night. I don't really push myself more. Than that. Sometimes I play 7 or 8.
I'll
I'm
do
really
my double daily usually.
I try to control myself, but I cannot.
Like I had like an 8-game winning streak where I couldn't stop because it was fun. But then I was
I was sitting at Keith's house because I refused to get internet because I knew I'd just be glued to my computer playing Gwent. So I was sitting at his computer. I was glued to Keith's computer playing Gwent while he was out of town. And eventually the screen came up and said no more rewards available. I was like, what? At that point I had to stop.
Don't you have to win like 80 rounds?
I don't know what it was, but yeah.
6, 12, 24, 48, and maybe 60.
Yeah, I know it said no more rewards available. I was like, oh, what? It was like looking off the edge into the abyss. Like every 2 wins, you get a reward. That's how it's supposed to be.
That's true.
It just shuts off
every
at
2
some
round
point.
wins.
Right.
Again, you
It's
can
like-
go 0 and 1,000 and get all your daily rewards.
Yeah, you can reach that abyss, not winning a game.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I was winning a lot. I think I was playing a lot of junk. So
Chunks. Your games are interminably long.
yeah, I might have sat there for like 6 hours and eventually
Well, then
popped up. No more rewards,
a new
dude.
deck on your account, and it was like suddenly you like lost all your ranking.
Well, that's the funny thing is that the non-ranked multiplayer it
The
can
casual
be brutal
games
as
are
fuck
often more
because the
difficult.
people who are like high up on the ranks, like they're level 19 or 8, whatever,
They don't wanna risk
wanna
their
risk
rank,
it.
yeah.
So they're like, I'm an amazing noob stompy player, but I don't want to risk my rank, so I'm going to make a new list and then just go fuck people in casual.
Yeah, in
Well,
my
yeah.
experience, if you are below rank 16,
Yep.
casual is harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe even 17 or 18.
Yeah, just play ranked. It's where the
And
better
when I used to
rewards
play-
are.
Unless you're at 22, 35 ranking and you're feeling a little burnt out.
Yeah,
When I played
No way.
Hearthstone back in the day, it was the same thing. Their casual was much harder than I never realized that when I was first playing. I'm like, well, rank seems terrifying, and all the good players are there. I didn't realize that the lower rank
yeah.
is you're playing against
You
people
queue up,
equally.
yeah, you queue up Gwent into rank 10 and you're an experienced player. It's almost comical.
You do the single player to unlock all the leaders, and you'll probably already be level 10, which is what you need to play ranked. If not, you'll be like level 9 and then just play a couple casual games.
they removed that restriction, as far as I'm aware.
It was there like 2 months ago.
I think it might be gone now.
Oh, okay. If there's no restriction, go straight into ranked. But I would still do all the single player stuff because you'll get a
you
whole
want
bunch
the
of
leaders
you'll get
and
you'll get the
cards.
leaders and you'll get kegs, and yeah.
I think every 10 levels you get a free gold card too, and you'll probably
Yes.
hit almost level 10 just from
Is
doing
it
those.
it's a random gold card? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
A random gold
Because I'm
card.
level 19.
I saw some
Yeah, you'll
fucker
get
got a
one.
Geralt Igni from a 2-round reward.
Yep,
When
yeah,
you
that's-
randomly get a card, he got an Igni. Are you fucking
Yeah, it
kidding
happens.
me?
Yep, all the time. Yeah, they just throw cards at you.
No
every once
RNG
a
in
while.
Gwent.
Nope. Yeah, I'm never lucky with those kegs.
I hate you so much.
You know, I got bored. I was saving all my kegs, and I got bored this morning, and I opened 4 packs, and I opened a silver and a gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
I did get
average,
one lucky.
right?
I
Par for the
did get
course.
a gold in the 4 and then an animated gold in the pick at the end. So
It's
that
But it
was
was
my best keg
Manticore.
ever.
It was Manticore Venom, which is not very good, and Old Spear Tip, who's okay. So it wasn't, so I was unlucky.
It
I'd
is
say.
great when you
there you
flip
go.
over and you get to pick when it's pick a card and there's just 3 gold staring at you. Like, well,
Yep.
because
Yeah, Old Spirit Tip was the only one I didn't
It
have
almost
in that
hurts
batch.
because you're like, I want
It's
you
great
all.
it's great when the game tells you we have 2 of those. I go free choice there.
Yeah.
I did take a duplicate once because there was a card I think maybe might get nerfed in the future, and then I'll get to Miller full value.
Yep.
But so far, every other card that I've had and been like, Mill full value. 2 weeks later, I've been like, rebuild it.
Yeah, they've got the most obnoxious game design where when they nerf stuff, they do it reasonably, and so you still want the card. It's like, come on. Is that reasonable to you?
Chat asking if you can build a burn deck, and you can definitely build decks whose focus is grinding your opponent's value down. Like before mentioned, Aridin does it because he drops weather, and weather is a hazard that stays on the board and just hurts your opponent's models every single round.
And if you're looking for more of the spell slinger variant, there is Ithne is a dedicated spellcaster card, and she can channel that towards direct damage, and she can burn stuff up pretty good.
And it looks
too.
like there's better direct damage coming. Like the boulder is...
Yep, they've like there's right now there's a card Elzer's Thunder. Pick a target, do 7.
Which is value-wise very poor for a bronze. The only time that you want to use it is if you're killing something that has a low value on it that generates a lot of value.
Because there are a lot of cards where it's like, if that 7-point card exists, I'm going to get fucked because it's just like the siege guys who keep giving +1 to every card that
Right,
comes out.
or
Like
the
that.
shooters for spies.
Yep.
It's like that card says 6 on it, but the score that it's going to mount on this round is more like 20.
Yes.
Now your Elzer's Thunder is a 20 card. But anyway, so Elzer's Thunder, deal 7, end of story. The new card coming out is Boulder. Deal 7, move the model. If there's nowhere to move to, he dies.
Oh.
So that is...
I think they changed it.
No.
That's what it is.
That's the new
I
one that's
think.
coming out.
So, I mean, now that compared to Elzer's Thunder is clearly better. It
Well,
does the
and
same
so I
thing,
was
but
saying,
better.
I was telling Marshall it's like the first strictly better. But so there's 2 things. Number one, there's
They
the
might
corner
change
case.
Elzer's Thunder.
They might change Elder's Thunder, but even ignoring that, as they are, the 2 things that are maybe a strike against it is 1, Boulder is not a spell.
Right, so SLN you can't use it.
Yeah, so
And that's,
things that pull a
Elzer's Thunder
spell
will still get played.
and number 2 is that in theory you might not want to move the thing you're hitting.
Right, I mean,
was,
for
you're
certain
talking to
decks.
me. That was me.
That was you?
At Who's the Boss yesterday.
See, I don't remember when I'm talking to you at anywhere else or Marshall at work.
I mean, Elzer's Thunder will still get played
Okay,
with that IT
Keith
spell
said that,
deck,
not
so.
Marshall.
Isn't Boulder deal 10?
No, it's 7. It's
7.
Thunder plus the
This
move.
expansion's also going to add, they're going to add limits of models per row, too.
It's
Right.
just like Parasite is just a better Manticore Venom.
Yep.
Except it's monster, not neutral.
Right, yeah, there is some
and
pure
it looks, the
upgrades.
card
but
effect
the-
looks really cool.
And
thing-
thank
yeah.
God it's not a unit, because if you played that down and it stayed there, people would forfeit just to not have to look at it anymore. God,
I feel
the
like
animated
the
I've been
animated-
Parasite.
animated-
Oh,
I like the Vivacaro Medics, got the tweezers with the leech squirming around in it. That's
You've
the best
seen
one.
Parasite, right? It's,
I didn't really
Is it
pay
new?
attention to it.
it's one of the
Parasite's a
new
new
ones
one.
that's coming out. It's
I haven't
deal
seen it.
12 damage or boost a model by 2, or boost a unit by 12. So it's Manticore Venom, or you can boost if you'd rather.
Right, and what they're seeing is
but
something like Manticore
it's a
Venom will
close-up
brick
of
in
an
your hand
eye.
if your opponent doesn't have a model to kill, right?
Right. It's a close-up of an eye with this worm just like spiraling into the cornea and just twisting, and the eye is like twitching and
Yeah,
and
so-
crying.
see-
It's
yeah.
really nasty.
CD Projekt Red does not hold back on their cards, and they briefly tried to hold back on their cards because of China censorship. But then China started censoring everything, and they said "fuck it," and now they're not holding back on their cards anymore. And they
That
can
is
be
one that
ridiculous.
the
They are
Flayed
beautiful.
Witcher.
There's like flayed witchers. There's people grabbing somebody else's head and literally incinerating it in their hands.
Oh,
I mean,
Vilgefortz is
yeah.
awesome.
He's a good card.
The graphics of the card are so beautiful, and then
so nice.
I even bought some of that dust because having an animated card, it's so magically
so
done.
amazing,
And
yeah.
they're
It's fun
so,
to stare at.
like the animated roach is hilarious because it's
Yes.
making fun of the glitches in Witcher 3. One of the new cards is actually a reference to one of the guys that does their streams. I forget his name, but he, obviously with permission from CD Projekt Red, he's like their official, unofficial leaker.
Actually, he got into trouble. He leaked something he wasn't supposed
So
to.
he's
but-
their official, unofficial, and then he occasionally also leaks things he's not supposed to leak. One of the new cards is some elf, I forget what the name is, but it's his face on the elf,
Yep.
and the text describes him basically as the Onion Knight from Game of Thrones, where he rescued people by bringing them food, and of course he's famous for bringing people leaks.
and they're actually on the
He's got a
painting on the
bag of
card, he's got a
leaks.
bag of leaks. Yeah.
You cannot build a neutral deck, Jim. Question in the chat, because one of the mechanics of Gwent that
Stop
we didn't
calling
mention,
Arctic Circle Jim.
but it's Jim.
No, it's
Jim.
Arctic Circle.
Jim Goff.
Then he would make his name Jim Goff.
Fair
Or
point,
Jim
cartage
Circle.
for you.
And there's Jim right there.
yeah.
Anyway,
Arctic
chat. One of the mechanics is the leaders that we've mentioned. The way that they work is when you build your deck, you have your 25 card deck, and then you also have your leader. And your leader is a very powerful card. Maybe not the strongest card in your deck, but it's the card that defines your deck because you have your hand that you draw at random, and then you always start with your leader. And they basically are in your hand.
And they're also revealed to your opponent.
Yeah, and they're revealed to your opponent. And so it's functionally a guaranteed card in your hand. They can't be forced discard or anything like that. And so it's a card you're known to have, and you build your deck around. And there is no neutral leader, so you always have to build a faction deck.
And I don't think there can be
You
for
could
balance
pick
reasons.
a leader. You could, in theory, pick a leader and build a 25 neutral card deck. So I don't know any leader that would necessarily be good for, but you could, in theory, build a neutral
When you
deck.
I
play
think it would
against-
get the closest.
When you
Yeah.
play against somebody, when you see their leader, it gives you a hint of one of two or one of three strategies you're going to encounter.
Sometimes
That's what I
one
did.
of one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 1-on-1, definitely. But I mean, probably one
Like,
to three.
you see Aridin, you know the frost is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just know it.
Yeah, the Aridin is definitely a one-trick pony. And
Although if you do the reveal with Emir, like, because he's
You
not
can
normally
play,
the
you
reveal
can play
leader.
John and Emmer with reveal. It's just they're equally as bad. But I mean, and this is coming from a guy that likes playing reveal. But
No, John Calviet is a spy master.
he's also he's good with soldiers, but soldiers is underdeveloped. But there's a card coming out that's like 5 power spawn a soldier. That'll help
Or
that
like,
quite a bit.
if you see somebody with
Or a
Dagon,
create a
you know
soldier.
that you're going to win.
I see him once in a while. I'm like, why? What's happening? I mean,
Because
what-
he was good 6 months ago,
Yeah.
but they nerfed him into oblivion, and some people haven't caught on to that.
They
What-
didn't really
what
nerf
was-
him into oblivion. They did what they always do is they buffed the other stuff.
I guess so.
Which, I mean, like, if you would have talked to me 4 months ago, I'd have been like, man, the crones, they're just too good. They didn't change them one bit.
They are.
I own
never
all
played.
3, and I do not play them. They're clearly not too good.
Right.
What they did to Dagon is a fog player.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now the new Clear Skies heals every damaged thing under fog by 2. Fog has a habit of bouncing around to a bunch of stuff. So you can sit under fog for 6 or 8 turns, which should be terrible under weather. Play 1 Clear Skies and probably negate 2/3 of it.
you heal.
Yeah.
Clear Sky, yeah, because that, in theory, the point of it is if I drop Frost on you,
Yeah.
you take 2 damage, you play your Clear Skies, it heals those 2 back, and then gets rid of the Frost, right?
It only does 1. It boosts damaged units under weather by
I'm certain
1.
it's 2.
It's they increased it to 2.
Yeah.
Something.
So, I mean, but
It's two-
that's...
it re-heals them.
Right.
And
It
so,
is
in
just
theory, if you
horrible for
immediately
fog.
respond to a weather with a Clear Skies, it undoes the damage from the weather.
And Dagon is also a Weenie Horde caster, where the Fog and the Weenie kind of goes together. But it turns out, although you'd never believe it, Unseen Elder is better at the same strategy. Right now, he's got better tools available. Slizzard and...
Well, the consume triggering the
Harpies.
arachnids and whatnot is
Right.
also
Well,
very
that
good,
is
and the
actually
harpies. And,
not
yeah.
usually played in the deck. But he'll eat the Harpies, which spawns more Harpies
Right.
out of his deck, and then you Slizzard the Harpy into play, creating more Harpies.
Sure.
So he can really swarm out, and he's much better at it than Dagon. So right now, you have the 3 traditional monster deck: Frost, Swarm and Fog, and Consume. It's just that Swarm and Fog and Consume are both headed up by
And
Unseen
then the
Elder.
Unseen Elder plays his
So-
Avlok the Sage to pull a Yennefer Unicorn.
Right. Or he just plays it himself.
Yeah.
Or that, too.
If you played a Swarm deck...
Porque no los dos.
Yeah, if you're playing a Swarm deck and you do not have Yennefer and probably Renew when you can eat your own Yennefer at will with your deck, you're probably an idiot. I mean, Yennefer is one of the very few, like, exponential style cards where if you get out ahead of your opponent in the right way, it just...
Well, or get behind. That's what's interesting about
Right,
hers.
yeah, I
Because
love
you have the
Tyrannox.
2 choices. You either buff everything by 2, so if you have more units than your opponent, it's good, or you choose to hurt everything by 2, so if you have fewer units, it's good.
Yeah, I actually subbed her into my spy deck because everybody is kind of swarming right now, and everybody controls your shooters so bad. You're always behind on units, and you put units on their side. And I've been, like, literally just blowing people out with Yennefer and spies. They get to the point in round 1 where they're 35 points ahead, and they think they're safe. And they pass, and I've got 2 cards to catch up, and she can do it sometimes in 1.
I was playing a game where I was down like in the 3rd round. I was down by like 40 some points. I'm like, I got this. He had one more card than I had, but I
Yeah.
knew I had the game.
Yep.
This is like whatever. I don't care.
Right.
This is
That happens quite a bit if you're doing Iris, Caretaker Iris, or, Yennefer couple
Fucking
times.
Irish
but-
caretaker Irish, eat a dick.
That's
Well,
so
my
good.
Northern Realms can just pull out just because of how I can chain. If I actually have the right
Yeah.
cards, I can pull 5 cards.
Yeah,
from
yeah, you
my
dig Strud
deck.
into Talus into a Commander's Horn or something.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, sorry,
just
guy,
so
this game is
ridiculous.
over. Yeah.
Yesterday I was very sad because a guy had stuff scattered, and I Geralt arded and knocked things back, and then so instead of having like 2 things and 2 things, he had 4 things in a row, and then he horned them.
Whoops.
I was like, nah.
That's funny because you're like, God damn, I'm a moron. Like, it's like,
That's where knowing, I mean, if you get into the ranks where net decks are prevalent, knowing
You
the
know that he
opponent's
has a
deck-
horn, yeah.
and the thing is, when you get high level, it's almost all net because certain people just have more time than you.
Yep.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, you're not going to sit and try to. I mean, I have junk optimized as far as it can go, and I played it way too much. But if I'm picking out a spy deck or if I'm going to pick out a consume deck, I'm in a net deck because that guy spent 100 hours optimizing it. I'd be dumb not to
if you
take
want to play
advantage of it.
seriously, don't be creative. At least at first, play a month or so using net decks.
The thing is that
your
like
deck-
I made a small tune to that net
Yeah.
deck. I changed out like I forget what card even for Yennefer, and my opponent doesn't know how to play against me now.
yeah.
So I mean, you can play a net deck and just switch 1 or 2 cards and totally subvert their expectations.
But at least with playing net decks, you see how certain things are function, and then you can tweak a little. I mean, tweaking is always good, but at least you understand the core functionalities. A
Yeah,
lot
I
I
better.
mean, it's similar to finding lists online in something like War Machine, right? Like, there's like, oh, it's it's Keith's Gatsby 2 list or whatever. Well, fine, okay.
Yeah,
but then
except
you
for when
change
Keith
stuff.
was playing Gatsby 2 and Mark 2, every 3 months he'd change it based on the metagame.
Well, and so
that's
does
how it
Swim,
goes,
right? I mean, people do the
Yeah,
same thing in Gwent.
absolutely.
But you can go online, you can find those lists, you can play them, and then if you want to sub stuff out, more power to you, right?
Yeah,
It's
I've spent
fun.
enough time with John Spies that every once in a while I make a change that I feel pretty confident about. But even then, I'm like, sometimes I still go back.
And people will net deck fast. Like Swim was doing a stream because he'll stream for like 8 hours. Gets his
Yep.
job. He'll make a deck at 8 in the morning.
Yeah,
by
you'll see it
noon, he's
everywhere,
facing
yeah.
his own deck
Yep.
that he built because people were watching the stream. And
In fact, sometimes he'll hit people that are watching his stream while playing him.
Yeah.
And he has to play with them knowing every card in his hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the danger of streaming.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't
they're
care.
prepared
He gets
for
to
it.
sit at home and play Gwent 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
How does he care?
It's a good job if you can get it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good job.
Does it matter what row you put your cards in?
No. There is no strength, only for positional reasons, right?
Yes and no. is the
Right.
answer.
Yeah,
It
so-
matters-
It does not
it
affect
matters
your
completely.
it does not affect your strength, but it affects, you know.
So, like, there's a card called Marigold's Hailstorm that hits a row and damages every unit in it by half. If
Okay.
you stack into one row, or let's say Lacerate, that's actually my example. Lacerate does 3 damage to every model in a row.
Okay,
So if you put 10 models into that row,
it's gonna.
I have a 30-point bronze. The average bronze is like maybe, let's call it 12.
yeah.
I mean, I've tripled that. If you instead went 3, 3, and 4, now I've got my 12-point bronze.
But then there's cards that could hit.
Then
after
they do a
round.
Ragnarok, and it
Right.
hits all 3 rows, and so you're taking triple the damage you would have been taking.
Right. So that, like, my junk deck actually plays on that strategy. I've dropped Ragnarok. They're like, I'm going to hide from the end of the world by stacking in one row, and the end of the world will only hit one guy in that row. And then they stack up their 10 models in it, and I go lacerate, lacerate. Now they've taken more damage than that Ragnarok would have done if they split up.
Double lacerate is so fun.
Oh, man. You can sometimes you leave your opponent at, like, 3 points.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, the junk deck is expert at it too because this deck, it's you play the Elder Guardian and he splits off into Lesser Guardians into your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
And then you play the Magni Division that puts a copy of that into their hand, and he's locked in melee right now. So they stack up those Lesser Guardians into the melee row, and then I double lacerate so they get 0 value out of them. So it's actually, it works. It does work sometimes.
It does work sometimes.
It works way more often than you'd think it would. I switched my leader to Morbrand.
20% of the time, it works every time.
It's actually I get around 45 to 50% with it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty optimized because I spent way too much time playing that retarded deck. I mean, when you watch it go, it's like, this is idiotic. And my opponent's got to feel so embarrassed when they lose. But lose they do. They actually can win.
You switched to Voorhees.
I did. So listen.
Why?
Well, it's actually really good. So Morbrand Voorhees is really bad in general. But what he does do is he's a single cold open 16 power play.
Yes.
So, and that's really pretty good. And so I cold open 16 power. It gives me time to develop weather. It gives me time to develop my combo. And it thins my deck by 3. So it allowed me to take out some of my other deck thinning that was becoming unreliable, them Alba Spearmen, and put in the utterly reliable deck thinning that he provides. And my opponent will catch up to me, but not until I've set up my combo. And once my combo is set up, I can actually win. It does pretty good.
Plus, Voorhees was my bro in Witcher 3. I went on a date with him. He was my
Nice.
favorite. We went to the races, had a picnic.
I like his brother.
Yes.
And also Voorhees was the leader I first had. I milled everybody but him, so I still have some loyalty to the old guy.
I didn't mill any of the.
I might not have milled the rest
Nilfgaard.
of Nilfgaard, but
I played the Northern faction mostly. I switched that just because I like them in the games. So it was just like fluff-based reasons to play them. And I still like monsters. I mean, I still have more monsters cards. I rotate between the two.
alls I've been hitting lately. I don't know if it's just random luck or what. Is Northern Realms. That's why I put the
No, it's
in my
because
deck.
it's because of the thing that's going on right now. It's Northern Realms versus Skellige, and
Oh,
Northern Realms
okay.
is winning, so
Right.
everybody's playing Northern Realms to be on the winning
makes
team
so
to get a
much
free
sense.
goal.
Oh crap! I
like-
played Skellige, so I can't get my win.
How many? I mean, did you play a lot of Skellige?
Yes, enough.
Enough that you can't play that many Northern Realms +1 tonight?
No,
I played zero
You
of
mean before
either.
6 o'clock tomorrow?
Maybe.
It's at some
I don't know.
point.
Go to playgwent.com. It'll show you when
It's
ends.
one goal.
I've played
European times, but God,
Like,
even
Six
the
packs.
the losing team gets 100 dust.
Oh, that's kind of almost
Yeah.
as valuable.
So, it's whatever.
you're getting something out of it.
I've played zero of each, so I'm just going to play one game of. I don't have either
Yeah,
of the golds.
I don't have
think
either.
The Northern
I
Realms
might have to
gold
craft
is
a Northern Realms
Dijkstra, I
leader.
think.
Oh, you just get Dijkstra, the best gold in Northern Realms, just about.
Yeah,
I have him already, so that's not so
Okay.
bad.
Yeah, I might also.
I will,
Well, it's
I will
still-
check
it's a
the
200
ending time
craft
and what the
dust.
golds are.
It's 200 ore or 200 scrap, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any non-Gwent thoughts on the day?
So we ran a Who's the Boss yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Andy, you ran a Who's the Boss yesterday. Talk about that.
Well, I don't.
Actually, hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Back to
There are 20 hours, 45 minutes, and 55 seconds to go.
So
So
tomorrow at
Tomorrow at
6.
6.
no, that's tomorrow at 3. Tomorrow at 4.
Weird.
Yeah, that's tomorrow at 4. So that is
I'll have
weird.
to craft a Northern
then it's
Realms
2
and
hours
drag them
before the
into-
normal day
Do you have to
then.
at least win one game or just played?
I don't think you even have to win. I think it's I think you just have
Because
to play.
I don't think I can win a game with Northern Realms even in casual
yeah.
because
If-
my casual opponents are going to be like 4,100 MMR and I'm not going to have any cards.
If Skellige would have won, it was Madman Lugos.
2-4 cards.
Northern Realms winning is Dijkstra.
The only unfortunate thing about that is any dedicated player to those factions would have already had those cards.
It should have been a new card, the new stuff coming out. The people would have lost their
Maybe
mind.
because or just like a rare card that's kind of more of a funsies card because any dedicated player is going to have Lugos or Dijkstra.
What it would have been really cool.
You
they'd
have
have
to get at least one win. It's
okay.
whichever of the
Ooh.
factions you have the most wins.
So I'm
with.
gonna have to find some really up tempo play where I go like 5 cards down to win.
Hey, can we play against each
Oh,
other? and
that's
each
how
win
you do
once?
it. Oh no! So you go into the first round and you play like Ken Signs and Bitter Frost as your openers, and your opponent's like idiot and passes, and then you play the rest of your deck out to win the round, or just the first of 3. You know?
I think it's.
You have to
Or
win
you
the
have to
game.
win the
It's
game.
game.
Oh
Oh.
no, I'm screwed then. Can't do it. I was like, just one round win, I could definitely get.
Just trick them.
No, it's
Yeah.
game.
Well, it wouldn't be tricking them. You'd be giving them a free game. As soon as you open Ken Signs, you've lost the game.
Pretty much.
Anyway,
That did happen to me once, and I was just like, they're like, Ken sign, and I was like, pass? And they're like, oh no.
Yeah, open Ken is a sure loss.
When
Well, not a sure loss, but it's pretty bad. Open Bitter Frost, then Ken is a
You
sure
went to Who's the
loss.
Boss too?
I went there, yeah, and I tricked Andy because I'm like, hey, can I get a ride to Who's Boss? Like, sure. And then I get his car, and I have a bag, and we get there, and then I open my bag, and it's just full of board games.
Look, you
Joke's
paid for
on you.
food.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I paid, and I supported, and I helped and everything, but Andy thought I was going to play, and I just,
Yeah.
no, I brought board games and then hung out.
Did you bring board games?
Yeah,
What did you bring?
brought stuff.
I think he
Hong
just ended
Kong.
up playing like solo Grizzle.
I played some Soul Grizzled, then I played Grizzled with a group. We played some Skull, which is a good game.
I love Skull.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I mean, Who's the Boss? We had
No
14
Feast of
people.
Order? Sorry. 14 people?
I had 14 people. We raised about $430 for a charity. We didn't normally our normal charities. We do Toys for Tots. It usually ends up bringing a lot more toys in for the tots. But this time around, pretty decent for 14 folks.
Yeah. And we were at the Elk Lodge again in Milwaukee, which is the best tournament venue that exists, as far as I'm aware.
$4.50 blind Russians
In double glasses.
in double glasses. Yeah,
All those kind of lodges are great for alcohol.
Oh God, yeah. There's
They understand the clientele's need.
Yeah, the more veterans or whatever that are around the place.
Yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
like if anyone
The more,
deserves a lot
the
of
more
drink,
booze
it's them,
there
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I found out that that the disease of the blind Russian has spread to just about everybody who participates in a crippled system event that has a bar, because that's what everybody was getting. I caught one person getting a beer, and I shunned him.
Because we got there quite early in the morning, so my first drink was a screwdriver, because otherwise
It's a breakfast drink 'cause
you're
it's got orange juice in
otherwise
it.
you're an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yep.
And once it got to like 11:20, I was like, all right, now I can switch.
Well, yeah, 4 rounds of good times. Had a little snow outside, not too much, but it was a lot of good. We'll have another Who's the Boss at the con on Friday, so you should sign up if you're going there.
My favorite round of the day, you'll appreciate this. I was playing my Retribution, and I got Zerkova 2. So it's sort of like Ron, but if you could boost their attack rolls every round, and then
pretty
on
good.
your feat turn, you got to run them, and then they cast spells.
Yeah, that would be pretty hard to defend against. I'd assume
You
the
did-
caster
you
would get
fished-
snatched into somewhere
It was
horrible.
like Fish turn 2.
Top of 2, yeah. I used the cricket to slam something over the top of their caster, which I mostly just wanted to get that thing out of the way. Knocking her down was a peripheral bonus, and then she got fished out to where Narn could get her, because the achievement was kill with a solo.
Yeah, I still don't think that's as good as a Mage Hunter Assassin one-shotting Nightmare, living through the opponent's entire next turn and then killing their caster.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was a Mage Hunter Assassin under
Vlad 2.
Two's feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vlad 2's feet, and then the next turn she just simply used Transference to win. So,
Oh, they
Yeah.
should not be able to boost or gain.
yeah, it's weird that it's like they don't give Ret those things. They gave him Storm Rager on a caster that literally has nothing else going for him. But
Yeah, Tyrone wants to be good.
Storm Rager on an Assassin, I'm sure, is quite good.
So Nathan, I mentioned this on the podcast before. I have unfollowed everyone on Facebook just because it keeps my newsfeed clear and happy.
Yeah.
Except my Facebook refuses to not. I have to. Whatever Nathan posts, I must see. Facebook. I've never. I can't. It just. You will see Nathan's stuff. So it's always interesting because
Do you like pay extra for that?
I don't know what he does,
I make sure everyone can see my stuff.
and I can always tell when Nathan's more riled up politically because suddenly I'll look at my phone like you see 16 updates from Nathan in the last like 14 minutes or whatever.
Well, you know.
It's because at some point in the day Nathan is unhappy with Trump.
What? Is it because he's playing Hearthstone, or what's the
Yeah,
issue?
yes,
It's just-
exactly.
It's just funny because I got my phone like you have all these alerts. I'm like, I'd make it stop if I could. Not that I don't mind what he's posting; it's fine. But I've tried to unfollow that political stuff, but Facebook's like, nope, you need a sprinkling.
It's more entertaining in person, where you get to hear the 10-minute long sexual fantasy about choking Mitch McConnell to death.
Oh my god.
Well, sometimes
What's wrong with the No Turtle? He's inspired many a good time
Well,
for
because
me.
sometimes he'll make a post and he'll have Nathan Flair with a link, which is
Sure.
always good. But then occasionally he must be in a hurry, so he just posts the link without the Flair. I'm like, well, I don't need that.
Right, yeah. If I Matt Lust it, where I
Yeah.
just drop a
I
link.
don't-
Mitch,
Yeah, don't
Mitch
love-
McConnell is shaped entirely my game strategy.
Yeah.
Any one of those hidden trader games, I just like channel Mitch McConnell. It's the best.
I will say, as much as I dislike Mitch McConnell, he was wonderful in his performance in Pan's Labyrinth.
So I just want to say that
I don't recall that movie. My brain shut down in the middle.
It didn't.
So this was
day.
something I saw on a post today, which was the weather in Alabama next week will favor Ray Moore because it's supposed to dip into the teens.
Yeah. He likes fucking children.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, it's good. It is fun when our country just has decided that pedophilia is okay.
Yeah,
That's only okay in Alabama.
That's true.
Let's keep things clear.
That is true. It's not the country. It's
Right.
it's
the Christian conservatives did warn us that the allowing of gay marriage would lead to the acceptance of pedophilia. What we didn't realize was that it meant that they
It would be by
embrace
them,
the
right.
pedophiles.
If you
It's
like
like,
gay
yeah, this
marriage,
is-
I have to fuck a child.
That wasn't the full message we got.
We didn't understand at the
no
time
fair,
what
though.
they meant.
I'm
but-
telling you, I bet he'd be good at them hidden trader games.
That's Mitch McConnell, and that's the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth.
I mean, I really do enjoy.
they didn't
his
even need any
strategy.
makeup. Like,
Just vote no to
it's just
everything.
a cameo.
The pale man just needs some glasses. Then he'll be set.
One of them is a twisted monster that murders children, and the other one is the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth.
I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth.
I like Mitch McConnell. I'm telling you, he defined my hidden trader game play.
Just vote 9.
Yep, you just vote no to everything. It works every time, except
Until-
for when it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I vote
until
nothing
you
like
would-
a turtle, though.
Oh, those 2 games of resistance.
But we had some problems when we played that last time. We were playing
Watch
with somebody
you guys-
that played totally different. And
Yeah, he's like, our group, the leader always puts themselves on the mission first round. We're like, fuck you. We will out you immediately if you do that shit.
Where was this at? Was this?
It was at Keith's place. It was Steven still.
And then,
still.
Oh.
Nate, the one game goes, "You got me, I'm the spy," and he's like, "Let's send Nate on the mission." He was not paying attention.
He wasn't paying attention. He didn't hear me.
Well, that's interesting.
I've never
You
said
mentioned how
David.
different people play. You talked about before the podcast how you wouldn't play Lord of the Rings in a group and seen other people play a game. You've played Lord of the Rings for years.
Yeah.
And you have other people who don't. You forget that other people don't play efficiently sometimes.
Right.
You sit down, you're like, why are your decks so bad?
I didn't really mind it, but I mean, the guy I was playing. So I went to this Lord of the Rings event, and it was 3 tables of 3 people, and each table like interacted with the entire mission. And it was, I mean, when me and Keith or me and Epic Nate play Lord of the Rings, it is no quarter given. We're not like, we're hobbits adventuring to a mountain. It's like, we're going to destroy you, Doc. It's a cooperative game, but the cooperation part, for our part, is watch us raffle stomp the game.
We're going to beat you to death with math.
Right. so we're like, me and Epic Nate, and Epic Nate isn't quite as great at math grinding as Keith. So his deck was like 10% weaker than Keith's. Okay, whatever. But we sit down to math grind this game, and our teammate has no idea what's going on and is like kind of just, he's playing a red deck, but he's a red deck that has no way to defend against enemies ever.
And
So
he's a
like
combat deck, so
the
he's
red
fine.
is the combat, and its only job is to handle enemies. Now, if you're not defending them, you're not handling them, even if you can kill them. So he doesn't understand like what a terrible burden he is being on the game.
Right.
Instead, he's complaining about Epic Nate playing Gandalf the hero, so now he can't play Gandalf the ally. Well, Gandalf the ally is not good. Gandalf the hero is one of the very best ones in the game.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I can understand you being
To be
casual,
fair-
but don't sit and complain about the better deck, right?
To be fair, the ally is good. Like, if you can cheat him. You have to be able
Yeah.
to cheat him, and you have to be able to cheat him reliably.
But he was playing red-blue, and he had 3 copies in his deck. There was no way for him to get him into play. I mean, I mean, the guy, it's one thing to be casual, but it's another thing to complain about people that, like, he just didn't realize that we had a mass mastery of the game, and we would have ground this
You
game
were at a
to
different
pieces.
level,
Right.
so he literally could not understand
Right.
what you were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Neutral Gandalf may as well be purple, because he only
Right.
belongs in purple.
Right. And even then. But anyway, but it was pretty interesting watching these people like kind of fuddle their way through it, and like just they got lost because to be successful at that event you would have had to have a bunch of math grinders, and they just weren't there, and it's fine. I still enjoyed myself, and I got a card that had unique artwork, and it's the best hero in the game, so hard to complain.
And that's what's cool. That kind of events, getting those unique cards, and then just watching other people. Like I was going to On Board a lot earlier this year before my work went crazy, and on Thursdays just to play random board games with people, and just watching them play the same games I played home
Right.
is just interesting.
Yeah, it makes you feel a little better about yourself.
Well, in some ways,
It's like if this was me, Epic Nate, and Keith, we would have probably won this
Yeah.
even with the other tables losing.
well, even if the verses, I'm talking even like versus games, with other
Yeah.
people is interesting. And I will say one thing that's nice when I go to the game store, our group, and we are sometimes better than other times, but because we all understand math. When you're playing a game, you kind of know when you're losing, so you kind of complain about it a little bit.
Right.
But when you sit down in a game, and it does get old over time, and we all do it. And it's one of those things. But when you at the game store, I think they know, but like for whatever reason, when you're playing this like open environment, there's so much less of the like self anger which is sometimes it's peaceful to play against. When you're playing a game with like 5 people and 4 of them at any given time aren't complaining how they're losing, whether they are or aren't.
Are you talking about back when we all went to Denny's and played board games, Brian?
Well, every free-for-all game devolves into that because you've got to look like the weak one all the time.
But it's just, but it can be like stressful.
And when you're doing the math and you're like, man, he's so far ahead, and you see it, but luckily everybody else usually sees it, and they usually come to the rescue. But
it's just interesting.
Yeah. It depends on the situation. Like that guy, and also the person, like this guy we were playing with was complaining about obviously correct strategic moves and obviously better decks and limiting, and it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be complaining, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. And I got the deck, and me and Keith will probably make a terrible mockery of it. So the enemy deck, so that'll be enjoyable.
Nice.
So
yeah, we've been cranking through the nightmare modes, and those have been a refreshing challenge, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, we can actually lose some of them.
Some of them repeatedly.
Right.
Which one was it that just crushed us over and over again? Oh, it was the same one that crushes me solo over and over again. It's not the bar fight, but the one after it.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like trekking through the jungle.
Right.
And your first choices are like lose or die. And you're like, what? You have to get like this god tier opening to somehow beat them because it's just like hordes of these giant monsters falling on your face turn one as you're threading out. Just like, I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah, there's some nasty ones, especially at Nightmare, but it's interesting that those guys like at I'm Bored have managed to keep playing through some of that stuff because you can tell that they must just really be
how did you ever beat this quest?
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe a couple of people in their group is good enough where it makes it for the rest.
Yeah, probably. Or maybe they just like, well, that was a hard one, and they move on to the next one, and
because single player can be it's the least balanced. Some quests are very, very easy single player. Some of them are very hard single player, and it runs the gamut in between. 2-player is where the game is probably easiest.
Probably. Often 4-player is by far the hardest, except for when it's really not.
Yes. 4-player is, again, kind of like 1-player, but it tilts towards harder, whereas I think single player tilts towards easier. Because so many cards come off the enemy deck that it can chain into disasters that you never see in 1 or 2-player games.
Right, and you just cannot have the right control card to mitigate.
Yeah, you can't rely on that much cancellation.
Right.
Like, everybody would have to be playing blue with 3 copies of the cancel card. And
that's why we used to have a consistent 4-player group, but we got to that same one you were just talking about, and the group kind of fell apart, because at 4 players, this sucker is not winnable.
That's when you just start with some. They were like Southerons or Easterlings on the edge of the river, right?
Yeah.
Southerons.
And with 4 players, it's like, here's a million.
Yeah, it was.
You just
it was
can't
like
defend against
way,
any of this shit.
It was way past the ability to handle it, and then you'd get 4 terrible treachery cards.
We would lose to that 3 or 4 times, and then go do the burning of Lake Town for a reliever.
Right. Or go fight a Balrog or something. Yep.
So for next week's card game session, we have to go get into Star Wars Destiny, play that for a couple weeks, and then for the next. But we just have to keep bringing up.
The new Gwent cards will drop.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm stuck on Gwent for at least some time. I have a
I
problem.
understand this more card. We have to keep our card game thing going.
Is it a problem?
No, it's not. It's wonderful. I love Gwent.
Were we ever going to get back together and talk about Night Angel? I just reread it.
I reread it. I reread it a few months ago. It would be nice to.
That is an enjoyable book series.
They're called skis.
The
Oh.
Yeah.
It's such a minor point. You just can't.
But I'm right. You know I'm right.
What are you talking about?
In the second book, there's a scene where the one guy.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's fair, right?
Yeah. So he's on a mountain and he's fleeing from some guys, and he's like, I know how I can get down the mountain quickly. I remember there's this tribe, and they do this thing where they take strips of wood and they tie them to their shoes, and they go down the hill really quickly.
Snowboarding.
And they call these things flangango pooples. And it's like, listen, fucko. I've read 1.95 books of this series so far. You drink beer, you ride horses, you wear pants, you live in houses. Those things are called
it's a
fucking skis. Don't make up some stupid fucking word. Just say I made skis.
So there's 1,000 amazing
still
things in
way better than an omniscient tree.
things. But all you can talk about is the fucking skis, not the plot points, not the.
Oh, everything's amazing. Everything's amazing.
You've never talked about one amazing thing.
We haven't had that podcast
You can't
yet.
get over that fucking skis.
Every book had
gonna
one
kill you
thing.
someday with
Every
that.
book that had one. No, you mean a flabungal flonkel.
I'll be screaming the goddamn thing as I murder you with
The
it.
booble goggles are still better than omniscient trees. I
You
don't care.
motherfucker!
Every one of those books had one thing that pissed me
I
off.
don't even agree on 2 of them. I give you the skis. I give you the skis, even though it's stupid. I'll give it to you.
My biggest hang up is that the first third of book 2 is just like this interminable blue balling. And it gets kind of whiny and annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
I would have expected it from a first-person perspective, but from a third-person perspective, lighten up. Like,
But
give me
it
something
pays,
else.
but luckily, all of his payoffs are always done so well that I don't mind some of that shenaniganry.
I really enjoyed the book series.
They're good. I did. Yeah,
They're very good.
Waffles notwithstanding.
I just,
I
like,
never
it just
even
took me out,
noticed.
like, I'm reading, I'm like, really?
I remember
Fucking really?
explaining that to me. In my mind, I'm like, okay, don't murder Nathan right now.
This is how my brain works, Brian.
I know.
I
He's
remember
very
being annoyed
pandemic.
by that.
Also, I
remember
have that
being-
same shirt. You got it at Shopko.
I got it at Walmart.
What? Oh, yeah, no, that is a Walmart one. The Shopko
Yeah,
one is
he's
slightly
not
different.
a 45-year-old woman, so he does not shop. at
I've
Costco.
seen him in Shopko.
Oh, I don't
looking
know.
for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Really? Where's Nathan? I need to buy a Flumbago goggle.
Bongo gongles.
You're going to see me come and run at you with a ski someday. You're going to lose your goddamn shit. 'cause you know
Epic
it's
Nate
coming.
was talking about the guy that finished the Wheel of Time, Brand Sanderson.
Yeah.
He said his regular books are very good.
I keep hearing that, but the last 2 books of Wheel of
Well, I
Time
mean,
were
he killed
mangled
Matt,
so
right?
horribly that I.
Well, he did
I have a
everything
hard
right
time-
except for Matt, is what I've heard.
Yes.
Which is mangled horribly.
It's completely unforgivable.
Right.
I've read
Like,
one of-
this is a book series I've literally skipped to Matt chapters for 5 books in a row. Please don't ruin this character. Fair enough.
I've
but
read one of his trilogies, and they were pretty good.
pretty good. Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't blow me away, but I was like, this is a good book series.
Keith read some Robin Hobb recently too.
Yeah, he's
Which
good.
she starts more up tempo, which is still slow, and
Yes.
then eventually her writing drags out. But I still enjoy them.
I
But
stalled on the book 3 of the final Fifth
And I
series.
still haven't read that because I enjoy the way the second ended so well. I don't want to go into the third. It's hard for me to like because I just I was content and happy.
I think the Live Ship Traders is actually the most action
Oh, yeah,
oriented
Live
of
Ship
all of
Tra-
hers. Those are the best. Of
Sounds
the
like I
books.
need to go back and read.
Live
this.
Ship
Well, I should
Traders
force
are
myself
epic.
to finish this last Fitz book and then
That
I
other book, you really want to read the first Fitz book, the Live Ship, then the second Fitz book.
yeah I sort of wanted to, but I was hooked on Fitz at that point, so I was just like, give me more Fitz, and I went.
Yeah,
back
although
to
book
Fitz.
1 of the second trilogy, I just want to punch him. I mean, to be fair, you always want to fucking punch him in his goddamn face, you motherfucker.
Well, speaking of a little bit of
He's
fantasy,
like a guy you like, but you can't stop talking shit behind his back.
Yeah,
fantasy book novels.
God, he drives me nuts. I like him, but he drives me
kind of
nuts.
like Nathan or Jeremy.
Right.
I drive me nuts too. The first 2 seasons of The Magicians are on Netflix right now, and we've talked about that before. That's worth
It's
checking out.
interesting because it's kind of like the books, but kind of different. And in both of them, the characters in both are very pretentious, which are you kind of don't always like them, but it's still interesting.
Who's the writer on that of the books?
Some random dude.
Yeah.
Is there an
Somebody-
omniscient, benevolent squirrel living in a tree?
There is not.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the tree that is omniscient, and the squirrel just happened to be there.
The Magicians, the trilogy is worth reading. It's interesting, but the TV series is worth it just because it has one of the biggest fuck yous to fans of a book series ever in a massive troll, and then it undoes the fuck you. But when you're not marathoning, so imagine you're a big fan of Game of Thrones, the books. And you're watching the series, and you get to Robb Stark's wedding, and they get married, and everybody throws rice, and they go off to their honeymoon cabin, and the end of the episode.
Okay.
And you're like, what?
Like, I don't think so, no.
What? No. And so people were furious because they did that. They had like their red wedding moment, except everything was fine. And the person, like, it's like in a flashback. It's like if Arya had told you about the red wedding or something. And so she goes, she's like, yeah, and Rob got married and everything was great. Hooray! And you're like, that's not fucking right. And you write angry letters to the Sci-Fi Channel and you complain about it on Reddit and you yell at your friends at work about it. And then a week later, the next episode, that person starts to crack and you find out that they had just suppressed all the memories and then they show you the red wedding and you're like, oh, it's so nice to see it. The week wait made it even sweeter. It was a pretty magical troll by the show.
Has anyone seen Logan's Lucky Logan?
Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky.
No.
Anyone in Tenet seen Logan Lucky?
Kind of. Well, not enough. I like everything that they've
There's
done.
a minor spoiler.
Go ahead.
During the movie, there's a prison riot as to one of the many subplots. Halfway, the prisoners are their list of demands is they want a copy of Dance of Dragons. They want the last 3 Martin books.
Sure.
In the library.
Winds of Winter and
Yeah,
whatever.
and the word's looking. Here's the book 5, but book 6 and 7 aren't y'all? And they're like, fuck you. It's been like X amount of years. There's no way.
We know it's out. It
And
has
like,
to
you
be
know, like,
out.
well, my inmate, the guy who transferred in knew about the dragons. Well, that was they're like, but the show's the head of the books. That's not possible. And just the dialogue back and forth between the warden and the prison. Out of the blue of this nonsense movie where everything else is going on that's interesting, just gonna drop the little nonsense on Martin.
I mean, I think we could thank Brian or be mad at him for even getting the 5th book.
Yeah.
As Brian is solely responsible for the 5th book being released.
Yeah.
So,
And it was bad.
it
Do
was
you know
bad.
because you haven't been you weren't on the podcast when I told, and I know we've talked to you in person about this. Do you know the amazing follow-up to Brian's story?
Yeah, that Martin was talking
Okay,
about it at
yeah.
a con somewhere.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Raylene and I went and saw him live, and in the interview with Stephen King, he told Stephen King that the most terrifying thing that ever happened to him was Brian.
Hey, but it got him writing.
So Brian can die fulfilled.
Yeah.
I've stopped trying since then. I peaked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good time.
There's no zappity grumbles.
Oh, how have you been? We ready for recommendations?
Yeah, we're definitely.
Let's assume Gwent. We don't need to say
No,
that.
I was gonna recommend. I was gonna recommend it last week because somebody randomly mentioned. No, it wasn't random. I was discussing BoJack Horseman with some people, and the actress who plays Honeyhawk guested on an episode of this podcast, or it's a YouTube channel, really. And so I watched the episode she was on, and then I watched 9 hours of this YouTube channel, laughing the whole fucking time. It's called Drawfee. Drawfee. And all it is these people, they're half-hour episodes, and they have a topic. Like one of them was Lovecraftian elder gods that they weren't familiar with. Like the artists had never heard of these things, or like superheroes they don't know of, or fusions of 2 or more Pokemon, or cryptids that they've never heard of, and they just draw these things live and just bullshit while they're drawing. And the bullshitting's hilarious. The drawings are always fucking hilarious. It's a great channel.
The link you posted was like a minute clip, so I was very confused. But now that I know it's like a full length show, it makes more sense.
Oh, it wasn't the full half hour that
No,
I
I got unless I was watching the commercial. I was very
weird.
confused.
But yeah, it's supposed to be a full half
Whatever
hour.
Was it about insurance?
Yeah, whenever I saw it, it was like 30 seconds a minute. I'm like, I don't get it, and I just moved on.
Oh, but no, it's fucking hilarious.
Melody.
Like, why did Nathan link a Fidelity commercial?
I love Fidelity Insurance.
That's your recommendation.
Friends.
I was confused. I'm so glad you clarified that now.
I watch so much of YouTube that I'm getting annoyed by the commercials that they're serving to me.
Hopefully, don't watch it on your Fire Stick because that'll be ending soon.
What? Oh.
But Amazon and Google are having a big blowout right now.
Really? No. Well, I mean, like, I'm convinced I have hepatitis C because they've shown that commercial for me like every single fucking video I watch.
Also, you had sex with that prostitute who had hepatitis C.
Oh shit!
I mean,
Was it before Rick and Morty? 'Cause it doesn't, their one episode.
That's the good
had
hepatitis,
C.
yeah.
Yeah, they're just good guys.
Yeah, that's my recommendation. If the rest of you are just going to say Gwent, that's fine. I just wanted to throw that one in because it was going to be last week, but then Andy was at SteamCon, so we didn't have an episode.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I wanted to do it, but
Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter.
things
I'm just
fell
saying.
apart. And that just happens.
I wanted to mention Drunk.
recommend something, Keith.
My recommendation is, I mean, we talked about it some today, but my recommendation
Gwent?
is
Gwent?
the Lord of the Rings LCG. If you got out of it, it's a good thing to come back to because they have made serious improvements.
And if you don't have any friends, I've been in the computer soon. Maybe you'll have everything.
Yeah,
No,
and
we don't know the extent of the computer.
don't-
games.
Yeah, hopefully they have the ship expansion out because that is the very best one.
Yeah, so if you quit right after, what's it called? Heirs of Numenor, which is understandable.
Yeah, the
because
horror
it
in
was
the woods.
hell. It's worthwhile coming back, I think.
Actually, right after Heirs of Numenor, there was the that was when they did the Gondoran cycle, right?
Heirs of Numenor was the Gondor cycle, and then
Oh,
they
okay.
did the Dunedain cycle next. I think.
Right, Dunedain, I think the quests were really pretty fun, and
Yeah,
then the
that's good.
ship quests were really fun. Yeah, they've really refined their quest
They learn.
making.
Fantasy Flight learns from their mistakes very well, which is a thing like what the company like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't recommend. I'm gonna Reckenstein.
Reckenstein,
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenman.
The new Colossus was a awesome game. I love New Order. And
Your dad's a great guy in that game.
New Order.
No, isn't it? Is New Colossus the one with
Yeah, your dad.
your dad.
But the New Order. It's if you like to kill Nazis, which most people do. The action's amazing. The story is so over the top yet fun. It's just got a cast of characters where when it's doing its little between action scenes and it's just things are happening, it's so entertaining. You get to if you want to kill Hitler, sure, you get to do that. And there's just so much nonsense going on. I always like the idea because it takes place in the 60s. Hitler, it's a whole Nazis won the war kind of alternate history. At some point, you go up to Venus and you have you spend an hour and a half on Venus, which makes no sense. But whatever, the Nazis have a Venus base, so you go up there. You got to get you have to get the codes for their flying ships.
Fuck you, moon.
Yeah. Well, I think you went to space in the first one too. You just occasionally go to space for some stupid reason.
Yeah, I forget which one it was. The first or the second one where that's the great line where the main character to play against finds out that there's a Nazi, the Nazis went to the moon, and he just goes, "So they put a Nazi on the moon, huh?" Fuck you, moon! Flicks off the sky, and I'm like, yeah, that's BJ's response.
Yeah, no, it is such the dialogue in that game is phenomenal. I bought it. I mean, I don't know. The final one's going to come out, I think, probably in a year, and it's plenty of a trilogy. If you like first-person shooters, you like killing Nazis, and you like just a fun, over-the-top, well-written story, there's your game. That's my suggestion.
I either have to recommend food or music, so I'm going to do both. New alternative, I love Vance Joy. Listen to this guy; he is incredible. His music is amazing. It's probably going to be very, very popular, and you're going to hear it way too much pretty soon. So you might as well hear it now while it's still enjoyable, and then turn off the pop station later. But his music, it's mind-blowingly good. And I think you ever heard of the guy James that did that goofy song "Laid"? I think it's the same guy, but he had to change his name because he knew nobody would take him seriously. But, his new stuff is serious, and it is seriously good. And then I previously recommended Archer Farm salsas.
Yeah.
Newman's own salsas are just as good, but half the price.
Newman's Own, I think I've actually recommended Newman's Own before because the thing is, it's really good shit.
And
it's
so
surprisingly cheap, and 100% of their profits go to charity.
Yeah,
it is win,
incredible.
win, win. It is cheap, good food
Well,
that you can feel good about.
I mean, I do never feel good about charity.
You don't have to. Do you feel good about half price for the same quality product?
But if the money's going to charity, I'd still that aftertaste.
Well, the thing
charity
is that
depend
you
on
know
the
that you're
charity.
kind of screwing the charity is because you're giving them $2.50 less a can of
there you
salsa.
go.
Yeah, it depends
Then
on
you
the
really
charity.
would. I mean, you're like, I would spend $5 for this, but they're charging $2.50.
This might be unclear. There is a stripper named Charity.
Oh, well, that's
Your money too.
Yeah.
She's just dancing on
Do
Paul
they
Newman's
have to
grave,
put like a
and they
legal
just
disclaimer? We're talking about a stripper, not charitable
well, it's just
endeavors.
there's a capital C. They said proceeds go
yeah.
to charity,
That's
and if
true.
you don't understand that it's a proper noun, that's your fault.
even if
True.
even if the company changed their name to charity, it would still be worth it.
Andy,
good
you're
times.
here.
My recommendation.
Did you enjoy the Gwent you played?
It was okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't want to take against real players yet.
Yeah, that's fine. Play the single player mode. Unlock all the leaders, get plenty of chests.
Alright.
Kegs.
Go to Gwent Deck.
Finest kegs in all of
I mean,
this
barrels and all of
I did play I did play with no sound too. So
Oh no! When you go to the shop,
Shoop
you have to
makes
turn the sound
Smash
on.
Smash? Yeah, that guy is amazing.
Shoop on the Gwent streams that CD Projekt Red does. They have a little plush Shoop on their table. I don't know if it's available for purchase yet, but when it is, I will buy one.
He is hilarious.
He's funny in the game when you bump into him.
So my recommendation, I just
Shoop
started,
is in the game.
The rock guy?
There's plenty of rock trolls in Witcher 3, but is Shoop like the Gwent card-loving rock troll in the game, or are you just? I mean, all the rock trolls are amazing.
I thought he was the one on the island by himself up in the middle land area. I thought that was Shoop.
Well, there's Trollolo, who's right down south of, the town, who's singing. He wants to be the soldier.
And he's off. Yeah, was he? But he's like a
He does
marshy
a good
island.
job of it because he's always around soldiers.
There's like
in
a
the card
marsh.
game.
There's a marsh island guy.
Yeah, no, that's not Shoop. That's not Trollolo. But whatever. All the trolls are amazing.
Yes.
Sorry.
I just started. I had it on my DVR for the longest time. I only watched like half of the second season, and I'm starting to finally finish that season because I got a lot of time off. I really like the Preacher. Preacher second season so far. I'm in the middle of Air Stars information.
Do you have this week off?
I have this week off. Yeah.
Nice.
So I will be catching up on a lot of
Gwent.
television this week. No, I'm not going to play that much Gwent. I am going to try to play a
Play
couple
Gwent
games.
while you watch the
You
Preacher.
say that now.
No.
Your daily's only 6 rounds. Not even games. Just win 6 rounds.
Yeah, 3 games, you're done. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But
Those are good days.
Man, the whole Hair Star thing in in The Preacher. I think Ryan's seen all
Yeah.
of season 2, but it's his. I love his training video. The episode Pig from the second season is probably one of my favorite episodes ever of The Preacher.
Hairstar's a little unique.
Yeah. So far, I've liked the series so far. I've never read the comics, so I have no idea how much it differs from it. But the show has been enjoyable for me.
Sorry.
All right. Well, look at that. That was a pretty good episode 1 of Gwent System.
More Gwent than Lent.
It's been almost an hour.
Give up Gwent for Lent. It rhymes, but I could not do it.
It's almost been an hour since I restarted the actual audio recording.
So let's say Swim is Jewish. Can he play Gwent on Saturday?
Maybe Shabbos. Maybe he just builds decks on Saturdays.
I don't throw cards on Shabbos.
Right?
All right,
yeah.
so.
Bye, everybody.
All right, thanks everyone for watching.